Puck drops in Chicago as the Aeros try to focus in on the Wolves. Last time these two teams tangled, Dave Tippett was just settling in as head coach and riding a winning streak. The Aeros broke the ice in the first as Turgeon tipped in a pass from Yo. The Wolves clawed back in the game on a goal from Brian Pellerin. That set up Captain Conroy's heroics to give Houston the victory. From the Rosemont Horizon, Saturday Night on Ice is next. Live from the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, Illinois, it's Saturday Night on Ice. Tonight, the Houston Aeros take on the Chicago Wolves in live International Hockey League action. A very pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Rosemont Horizon. I'm Adam Gordon. The Aeros wrap up their 4-game road swing tonight. They're 2-1 on this road swing, so a win tonight would give them a winning record. And as I bring on my broadcast partner, Mike Greenlay, a terrific win last night in Peoria. They defeated the Rivermen 4-1, and they got a 2-goal performance by Mark Fehr. It's great to have him back like that.
Well, it certainly is. He's been frustrated for so long this year, and all his hard work starting to pay off. 2 goals last night, one of them shorthanded, plus he had a goal and assist versus Atlanta. They've won both those games.
I'll tell you what wins it for you, some dynamite goaltending, and they've been getting it from all people. Troy Gamble, great to see him playing well.
Well, yeah, it's his 4th game in a row, and Dave Tippett said, I'm going to go with the hot guy, and he is the hot guy right now. He's making all the big saves and all the regular ones too, and the defense are clearing the rest out.
Well, he'll have his hands full tonight because Chicago boasts 2 of the top scorers in the IHL, and Steve Malte and Rob Brown.
Well, these 2 guys are proven in the IHL for sure. Steve Malte, player of the week last week, and Rob Brown is the guy who usually sets the plate for Malte, so both those guys are going to be guys to watch.
I guess you could say that pair is definitely multi-talented, and that takes us to our Oshman's game plan. Brought to you by Oshman Supersports USA.
While we're staying on the subject of Malte and Brown, they're going to have to badger both of them. Last time in the Summit, when the Aeros won 2-1, it was because they badgered Brown, and he wasn't able to set the plate for Malte, as we said he did. Secondly, the Aeros are going to have to keep it up, and I'm talking specifically of guys like Freer, Arneal, and Gamble, guys that have come up as of late and played some great hockey, and these guys are going to have to do it again tonight. Fatigue might be a factor, so they're going to have to play well. And third, watch the penalties. Last night against Peoria, the Aeros had to kill off 8. They did kill off 8, but tonight against Chicago, they might not be so lucky because Chicago has a pretty good power play.
Up next, we visit with the head coach of the Aeros, Dave Tippett. This is Saturday Night on Ice. UPN 20's Saturday Night on Ice is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, by Columbia Healthcare Partners, by Chrysler Plymouth, by Dodge, by Jeep Eagle, and by Whataburger.
Welcome back to the Rosemont Horizon. I'm Mike Greenlane, and I'm pleased to have head coach of the Houston Aeros, Dave Tippett, alongside. And Dave, right off the bat, you've played Troy Gamble the last 3 games, and he's come out big for you every game and pulled out a couple wins for you, and you're going with them again. Does this team really have what you'd call a #1 goalie right now?
Well, I mean, we're in a great situation where we do have 3 guys, and you know, you can always find one that's hot, it seems like, and Gams has been hot the last 3 games, so we're going to stick with him. You know, he's played very well all week, and the game in Cleveland we lost, but we gave up a lot of shots, and he played very well, but he's got the 2 wins this week, so we'll go with him again tonight.
Your specialty teams played really well last night. In particular, you went 2 for 4 on the power play, and more surprisingly, I guess, is the 0 for 8 that Peoria went on the power play. You killed off 8, plus you added a shorthanded goal yourself. Has all this hard work started to pay off for you?
Well, hopefully it has. You know, guys have, you know, they've really tried to bear down on the special teams lately, and a lot of it just comes down to execution. And you know, you can have different systems or whatever, but the guys went out and they worked very hard last night, and they got rewarded for a lot of their hard work.
You look at a team like Chicago, they boast guys like Rob Brown and Steve Malte. When you look at 2 guys like this, do you key on them or focus on them, or do you just incorporate them in your game plan?
Well, I think you probably hit the nail on the head right there. You've got to incorporate them in your game plan. They're 2 very dangerous players, and you have to be aware every time they're on the ice. But you know, the other side of it is you can't get too focused on them. You've got to be focused on what your team's doing and what your personnel has to do to win the game. So it's a little bit of both, but they're definitely key players that we have to be aware of.
Well, I wish you the best of luck tonight against Chicago, and I guess go get them.
Thanks very much, Greeny.
All right, that was Dave Tippett, head coach of the Houston Aeros, and we'll be back to the Rosemont Horizon right after this.
Back in the Rosemont Horizon, Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay. The Aeros taking on the Chicago Wolves. And tell you what, Greener, the place is dark right now. They had one of the best fireworks and laser shows that I've ever seen, even pyrotechnics going on.
I thought it was a halftime show at a football game for a second there.
For a minute there, I thought it was Super Bowl Sunday all over again. They do a terrific job. They've got these two pyramids that sit in the, say, the end of the left of us, and they protrude out a huge ball of flames and smoke, and it is just outstanding, the show that goes on there. But we go down now to center ice and for the Star Spangled Banner.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, if you follow hockey in the city of Chicago, you would know that Wayne Messmer is a very popular anthem singer. He sang at just about every Chicago Blackhawks game, and now he's part owner of this Chicago Wolves hockey club. And I'll tell you what, when he belts the tones out, he gets this place rocking, and it looks like a terrific crowd on hand tonight at the Rosemont Horizon. The Aeros coming in, they will wrap up their 4-game road swing tonight, and it has been a terrific road swing. We talked a little bit in the open about Mark Freer, and we didn't really talk much about Scott Arniel, his line mate, with the 2 assists last night.
Well, yeah, Scott Arniel has played well, and that's helped, I guess, and has helped Mark Freer pick up his game as well. Arniel has a goal and 7 assists in his last 6 games, and Freer, of course, has 3 goals and 3 assists in his last 6 games. So both these guys have picked up the pace a little bit, and they've helped each other, and you know, teamwork, that's what does it.
And it couldn't come at a better time, Greener, with on the shelf still Mike Yeo about 4 weeks out, and then of course Sylvain Turgeon out. In goal, Troy Gamble will get the start. Gamble 7-15-2. This is his 4th straight start, a 4.04. Goals against average, 87.9 on the save percentage. He has been splendid on the road swing. He won in Atlanta, just narrowly almost picked up a win. In Cleveland, he lost 3-2 and then the win last night. He's 2-1 on this road swing. Get this though, a 1.68 goals against average, and he's stopping nearly 96% of the shots that he is facing. The Aeros will start up front, a line of Graham Townsend, Mark Freer, Scott Arniel, Gord Krupke, and Mike Hurlbutt defensively. The Chicago Wolves will have out the line of Brian Wiseman along with Dan Curry, and also out there will be Greg Walters. And defensively, the Wolves will go with Kevin McDonald, and is that Kevin Pozo? No, it's Steve Bancroft. Big acquisition for the Wolves, and we'll get more into it tonight, is the acquisition of defenseman Doug Crossman, who played for the Turner Cup champion Denver Grizzlies last year, and he's going to help things out big time. Troy Gamble again starting in goal for the Houston Aeros, as you get a look, and then Wendell Young, who played terrific in Houston, even though the Aeros beat him 2-1. Wendell Young, he was limited to only a couple of games, 9 games with the Tampa Bay Lightning in 93-94 because of injury, but he's found himself a home here in Chicago. Off the face-off, we are underway and the Wolves win it, and they'll turn it down the right side center ice. Arneal pushed to the boards by Walters. They battle on the far side. The first few minutes of this hockey game will be key for both clubs. The Wolves, at one point, had won 5 in a row before their loss last night to the Detroit Vipers, 3-2. Aeros back in their own end. Here comes Gord Krupke moving out at center. The tip pass ahead for Freer, trying to move it across the line, but it's intercepted by Kevin McDonald. Looped it in behind the cage. Pass back to the line. Eldon Hurlbut winds, lets a shot go, but it was hammered wide of the cage. To the near side, it's gobbled up by Dan Curry. He'll turn in his own end, a pass. Wiseman belted by Krupke. Big hit there, and down he went. I'll tell you what, you can always count on Gord Krupke for a couple of bone-crushing hits to get things started for Houston. Puck is at center. Graham Townsend trying to work it ahead. It was taken back by Steve Bancroft, who played a lot of last year with the Detroit Vipers. Now a member of the Chicago Wolves on defense gently rolled the puck into the Aeros zone. Gamble will slow in behind the net. It's jammed along the boards into the corner, and the Aeros move it out at center, and it's controlled by Mike Maurice trying to move it up ice. Maurice trying to get it in. Maurice flipped it to Conroy. Back Maurice center. Conroy trying to get a shot away. That was blasted away. And it's worked to center ice. Here come the Wolves. Malte. The pass in front. Dropped in for Rob Brown. Shoots. Gamble stopped it with a stick save. And he will cover up and hold on. Rob Brown, Steve Malte, and Doug Barral out there getting things started with the first shot on goal. And Troy Gamble stopped it. It's a scoreless hockey game with 1.5 gone by in the first period. Dave Tippett, 7-5-2 as a head coach, and he has done a terrific job. And on the other side, Gene Ubriaco, very colorful individual behind the bench.
Had the pleasure of playing for Gene Ubriaco in Atlanta, and now you talk about people finding homes. He's found one right here in Chicago.
They love him here. Face off, controlled by Gord Donnelly, and the Aeros loop it along the boards. Here is Miles O'Connor, pass tipped away, loose in the Aeros zone. Aeros need to come out physical here on this line. It's into the near corner for Doug Barral. Barral for a shot, whipped wide by Malte, and Carl Valamont gathers in the loose puck. He'll shoot it to center, just missing Conroy. Now it is Maurice, tipped one ahead for Conroy, right side. Conroy trying to move it in. It was centered in front, but Doug Crossman turned it away. And here come the Wolves at center. It is Steve Malte across the Aero blue line. Dropped it in front, but it was cleared by Mike Maurice. Wolves back at their own blue line. Here's former Houston Aero Steve Goslin. Tipped the puck into the Houston zone. Goslin worked one far side. It's jumped on by the Wolves, and a shot right on. Gamble stopped it. Jack Duffy ripped that one, pinching from the point. Slivchenko couldn't clear Goslin. The big shot deflected. Gamble got it. Didn't get good wood on it. Now to the near corner. Here's a centering pass. The front, this shot went just wide by Duffy. So the Wolves have come out here and are testing the Aeros. Centering pass. Oh, and that just missed. A breaking man coming down. That was Steve Goslin pinching from the left point. Now behind the net, Miles O'Connor knocked away by Breslin. Timmy Breslin centered. This shot knocked away as McGill tried to get it to go. Into the corner, O'Connor can't clear. Here's Slivchenko. He's belting along the boards. Berglund took it away, and a penalty coming up. It is all Chicago here in the early going. They have jumped on the Aeros on those last 2 shifts, and the Aeros are going to be shorthanded.
And one of the guys that drew that penalty is Tim Berglund. He's been playing very well as of late, and draws a penalty here on the Aeros. The Aeros will have to start killing penalties right off the bat here. Last night, as we said, against Peoria, they killed off 8 power plays for Peoria, and they'll have to use that same penalty kill tonight as Berglund gets the puck, tries to streak for the slot as he finds an opening, but he's hauled down on the play, and Slivchenko will go for a hooking.
Slivchenko in the box. Berglund, the guy that Slivchenko tripped, was the only Wolf player to play in all 81 games last year and had 33 points. Lyle Seitz is the referee with Lark Hahn and Dan Sass as your linesman. Wolves on the power play. Here's a shot. Gamble stopped it. Then it went into the net. Score! It was jammed in there. It might have been Rob Brown, and it only took the Wolves 7 seconds on the power play, and it's 1-0 Chicago.
Well, it caught up with the Aeros right off the bat here as off the face-off. The puck's brought down along the goal line and jammed in, and I don't think Gamble got all of that one, and Rob Brown gets in there for the rebound and jams it home. A good job along the goal line by Malte, who goes to the net. That's the important thing for a lot of players to remember is if you don't have anything else, drive to the net, you're going to create something. And Gamble went down, and the puck squirted loose. Rob Brown jams one home, and the Wolves lead it 1-0.
And another penalty coming up. This one to Chicago. Puck in the Wolves zone. Picked up by Townsend. Back to the line. Laniel winding, shooting. That puck deflected and controlled by Chicago. As it was controlled by Kevin McDonald, it'll be a penalty to the Chicago Wolves, and sitting down will be Brian Wiseman. It is 1-0 Chicago. Will bring you the Aero power play when we return. This is Saturday Night on Ice. .17:03 to go in the first. The Wolves lead at 1-0 on a goal by Rob Brown, and then right after the face-off, a penalty to Brian Wiseman. He sits in the box, and the Aeros with a chance to tie. They were 2 for 4 on the power play last night, and they'll bring out Freer with Arneal and Townsend. Off the face-off, Aeros have the black left side. Lamp tipped it over to Hurlbut, swings it to Arneal, right side getting set on the power play. Now a chance, Hurlbut winding, shooting, deflected away, didn't get good wood on it. Now Arneal sets up again. Arneal at the hash marks, right side. Here's Arneal, drifts a pass to Freer, cuts one back. Arneal went through his skates, and now Hurlbut a chance, drills the shot, and Wendell Young makes the save. It's picked up by Freer along the right side, and Arneal sets up with 16:39 to go in the period, and 1:34 on the power play. Hurlbut to Arneal, top of the right circle, winds it, fakes it, and then got it down to Freer. Here's Freer behind the net, he's center, one, a ricochet off a Chicago stick, and it's back out at center.
Last night, the Detroit Vipers were 3 for 3 on their power play as they beat Chicago 3-2. So the Aeros might take a page out of their book, try and get this one back early.
It's Mark Lamb in his own zone. Lamb moves to center ice for Houston. The pass for Arneal across the line, looks for Freer, cuts in, the shot stopped by Wendell Young, and the Wolves clearing, and it's out at center ice. The Aeros just about got behind the defense. In fact, they did, got a quality chance until Wendell Young stopped it. Hurlbut takes control in behind the net. The power play down to 50 seconds. That's to Brian Wiseman. Here come the Houston Aeros. A cross-ice pass controlled by Maurice. Flipped it Conroy right in. Trying to get it back to Maurice. Base of the right circle. Maurice centered one. It was deflected away and cleared out at center. 35 to go on the Aero power play. Miles O'Connor missed his man. It was Laniel, and back to play it at Chicago. And it'll roll to the near side. Goslin run into by Maurice. Battle for the puck in the corner. It's picked up by Houston. They cannot control. And it shot the length of the ice, and that'll just about do it. There's 17 seconds left in the Brian Wiseman penalty. And we've got 15 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the first. 1-0, the Wolves lead it. Here comes Maurice across the line with Conroy. Maurice cuts it back. Here's Laniel, wrist shot. Wendell Young stopped it. Rebound, just went wide of the net. Conroy gathered it back in. Conroy with a power play now over, and he turned the puck over. It's controlled by Chicago, and here they come to center ice. It is Rob Brown across the line. Brown cuts it over for Berglund, shoots. Gamble stopped it with a stick save. In behind the cage, they grapple for it. It's gobbled up by Rob Brown, looking down for Berglund. The shot went in front, blocked by Laniel. Here is McDonald, the drive, and that ricocheted wide of the net. Berglund centered one, but Brown couldn't find the handle. And Conroy is there, and he'll boom it down the ice. This will be an icing call as Bancroft goes back to touch. And there is icing on the Houston Aeros. 14.5 to go in the first. 1-0 in favor of Chicago, but clearly the Wolves have clearly come out and taken play to the Houston Aeros.
Yeah, right off the bat, and of course that power play goal also helped them. They seem to be getting a lot of good chances on goal as Berglund doesn't get all of this one, but he gets enough of it to get a good shot on goal, and Gamble squeezed the pads and was pretty sharp on that one. The Wolves lead at 1-0 early on a power play goal by Rob Brown, and Steve Malte on the assist there. Good job by the Wolves coming out strong here early.
Face off left side of Gamble. Here's Mike Hurlbut turning in behind the cage, and Hurlbut moves it up ice. Quick pass to the right side for Freer. Scampers across the Chicago blue line. Makes a good move. Centered one. Batted away. Hurlbut was in there, but now turned back away. Kevin Pozo for Chicago. Quick pass up for Dan Curry. He'll scamper to center. Curry meandering across the line. Ooh, that looked offside. I thought it got behind him. They say no. Jumped on by the Chicago Wolves, but they couldn't hold the puck in. It's back out at center, and Doug Crossman will regroup. Sends it over to Greg Walters' right side. Walters turning the puck into the Aero zone, and Krupke will chase it down. He's pursued by Curry, who takes him to the boards, but the Aeros are able to clear. Graham Townsend, who had a power play goal last night in Peoria, scooped it into the Chicago zone. Wendell Young will come out to flip it away. Freer nearly got a piece of it, and Goslin's got it for Houston. Goslin's pass intercepted by Donnelly, pinching down the right side. Here's Gord Donnelly trying to turn one down, but Bob McGill was there. 13-year NHL veteran Bob McGill. The pass ahead to Brian Wiseman. It goes into the Aero zone, and it'll be chased down by Miles O'Connor. O'Connor in behind the cage. He'll start the rush from left to right with 13.5 to go in the first. Chicago leads it by a score of 1-0. Now the puck turned around. Chicago's Rob Brown in the circle, dropped one back. Here's a chance, centered. Oh, it was blocked in there by Donnelly, and it's out at center. And it's controlled by the Wolves again. Blasted in by McGill. Takes the hop out in front. Donnelly trying to chip it out of harm's way. He had Malte coming in there. Now the shot blocked as Doug Baralt let it fly, and Campbell stopped that. Lamb trying to clear the zone. Blasts one out at center. Here come the Houston Aeros. Kelly Hurd with Slivchenko. Hurd along the near side trying to find Slivchenko. It went down into the corner, and it's gathered in by Chicago. And here is Steve Bancroft. Move the puck ahead. Brown trying to get by the check of Jakes, and it's picked up again by Kelly Hurd. Hurd for Houston. Left side, Lamb trying to center one. That's knocked away. Malte was in a battle with Kelly Hurd. The puck takes a hop out in front, but Chicago is there. Rob Brown back to play it. With 12:40 to go in the first, 1-0 Chicago. Rob Brown centered one in. Bancroft shoots. Gamble kicked it aside, and Rob Brown trying to center it again. Brown in the corner, tied up by Jakes. Battle for the puck. Jakes has it. Then he was tripped up, but got the puck out at center. 12:25 to go in the first. 1-0 Chicago leads it. They're out shooting Houston 7-2 here in the early going. Stevie Malte pass down low. Doug Baralt in behind that. Looks for Brown in front. Center. Trying to feather one, but Jakes blocked it. Aeros jump on a loose puck, and here they come. They'll open it up the center. Maurice trying to move it across the line for Conroy. That is offsides, and play is whistled down. Timeout on the ice. Just about 8 minutes gone by in the first. Wolves lead at 1-0. Back right after this.
Out here, but I think it's a situation where they're in their own rink. You got to kind of weather the storm for the first 10 minutes or so and get some good scoring opportunities. And I think we've done a pretty good job in our own zone. We got a little tied up there in the first, but it's a road game coming off the bus. It just takes a little while to get the road legs going, and we'll be okay here. Just weather the storm and get back to playing our own style.
How about the play of Troy Gamble? He's really stepped things up. That must be good for him and you too.
I think it is, and it's a situation where Troy had a lot of rumors going around. He was getting traded here, getting traded there, but it's good to see him playing his old style. He's confident, and he's doing the things that he normally did and did all of last year. So it's positive for him, but most of all, it's positive for the hockey club to get a good guy on a roll and be able to continue on from there.
Thanks, Dauber. All right, puck's out at center ice, and then looked like there was a sniper in the building as Darryl LaFrance got shot down, but the Wolves have the puck back in their own zone. Now it's jammed to the near side. It's back out at center and controlled by Houston. Gord Krupke along the right side turns the pass over to Hurlbut, and out at center he will come. Hurlbut, a pass to Krupke, tipped into the Chicago zone, but out of the net it's Wendell Young. Wendell Young dropped the puck behind. Bob McGill moves it up ice to the line, held in by Miles O'Connor, who will join us in the first intermission. It's a puck deep in Chicago territory. Townsend grappling in there with a former teammate of his and Steve Gaslin. The Wolves trying to get it out of their Al Secord. You want to talk about NHL veterans, Al Secord. What is this, his 94th season in hockey? Something like that? Here's Timmy Berglund in his own end. He'll turn the pass all the way down the ice. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, all of them have been with Chicago, whether it's the NHL or the IHL, as the puck touched up. And that will be an icing call on the Chicago Wolves.
There's Miles O'Connor. He'll be our guest in the first intermission. Miles playing a lot better as of late. Getting on that power play quite often.
Picked up a nice assist last night.
Certainly did.
Played very well, and the thing is we'll have to get a little comment. I believe the O'Connor family is due an addition.
They are, and you never know. It could be a future Hall of Famer.
Is he going to name him or her after you?
I doubt it.
I mean, I know you're good friends with the O'Connor family. I mean, what do you name, if it's a girl, do you name her Greener? Anyway, puck is in the Chicago zone. Here's Miles O'Connor. We got a penalty right off the hop, and it's away from the play. And I think the Chicago Wolves are going to get a power play here as it's a hooking minor.
So we've seen 3 calls this game so far, and all 3 of them have been hooking. And Slivchenko, once again, he took the first penalty, a hooking call, and he'll get called again for the hook. And right off the bat on that power play, the Chicago Wolves showed how their power play is effective, and Slivchenko holding up his man a little bit so Miles O'Connor can get the puck, and he gets nabbed on the hooking call, and it's a second hooking call of the game.
Well, it took Chicago 7 seconds the last time on their power play. We'll see what they have here.
And that was a good design play. Wiseman fed it down to Malte, and Malte is just going to go to the net from there, and he did, and was rewarded as Brown knocked in the rebound.
When you've got 35 goals and 34 assists, which is what Steve Malte has coming into the game, you're thinking one thing: drive to the net. Here's a chance for Kelly Hurd, shorthanded, feathered one in front for Lamb. That's pucked away, and then Rob Brown was checked down to the ice by Kelly Hurd. Here comes Wiseman in his own zone, gives the puck to Doug Crossman. Crossman moves it right to left. Out at center ice, Brown looks for Wiseman and across the line. Here's Wiseman, cuts one over to Malte, intercepted by Lamb, but Malte holds right side. Steve Malte, base of the right circle, getting set on the power play. He's drilled by O'Connor, but got the pass over to Wiseman. cuts it back to the line. Crossman fakes the shot, works it down to the right side. Here's a chance for Chicago. It's back to the line. Crossman winding, shooting. It ricocheted off Donnelly. Now the puck behind. It's controlled. Wiseman again right in. Then you turn the puck back to Crossman. Wiseman right side. Sends it down for Malte. Brown goes to the net. And Malte sets it back for Crossman. Power play down to a minute 5. Malte. Centered. Curry the shot. Great right pad save made by Gamble. Outstanding right pad save by Gamble. Puck goes to the corner. It's picked up by Malte. Blasts one off the boards. Knocked away by O'Connor. It'll go the length of the ice. Great play there. Now it's back into the Chicago zone, and Doug Crossman's got it. Here comes Crossman, right to left. He'll scamper to center, meander through the neutral zone, and drill the puck into the arrow end. Back to play it, it's Krupke. Turns along the boards, flipped one along the line, held in Bancroft. Second effort is out at center. Here they come, shorthanded. Maurice across the line, winds, fakes the shot, now hits the brakes. Looks for a man to pass to. Conroy was kind of drifting in front, and finally the Wolves will take it away. They've got 22 to go on the power play. Here they are at center. Bancroft hits the arrow line. Dropped it for Brown. Centered one, knocked away. It's loose in the slot. They bang away at this shot. Off the skates at Krupke. A loose puck picked up by Rob Brown. He'll trickle down the left side, back to the line for Bancroft. Worked it far side. Gosselin waiting, back to the line. Bancroft lost the puck. It's out at center. Wolves regroup, but the penalty to Slivchenko is over, and teams are at 5-a-side, and Slivchenko takes away the puck. Here he comes with some room. Slivchenko cutting down the left side. Shoots! Wendell Young stopped it, and it was controlled by Chicago, and Bancroft is there. He'll shoot it down the ice. It is icing on Chicago as Kevin Grant goes back to touch, and play is whistled down. Timeout on the ice will do the same. 8:30 to go in the first period. It's Chicago 1, Houston no score. We'll be back after this. Saturday Night on Ice returns in 2 weeks. Same bat place, same bat channel. I guess same Wolves Den, if you will. February 24th, right here from the Chicago's Rosemont Horizon in Greener. This must bring music to your ears and music to your eyes, these saves.
Well, it was a great save by Gamble, and he's showing his quickness there as he gets across the crease. A pretty similar play, except Wiseman feeds it to the slot, and Dan Curry gets a good shot, and Gamble was equal to the task there as he kicked the rebound to the corner.
All right, the puck is back out at center and chased down by Arneal. Now it's loose, and here is Timmy Berglund with a shot. Ooh, the shot went. Did that? Boy, he cranked that. That almost looked like it went in from this angle, but it was wide of the net, I guess. Puck is slammed to the line. It's back out at center. That caught everybody napping.
I think that hit the inside of the post, and that's why everyone stopped. They thought it might have gone in the net.
Yeah, I thought it did too. Puck is shot into the Chicago zone. Back to play it. It's McGill. Bob McGill in behind his net. Quick pass far side for Duffy. Chip to the line. Back out at center. Laniel will regroup with Kevin Grant. Down to 7:48 to go in the first period. 1-0 Chicago. A power play goal for Rob Brown. It is Mark Laniel at center ice. Drills the puck into the Chicago zone. Over to play it was Arneal. He was bumped along the boards by Duffy. And Steve Gosselin chased it down for Chicago, and he'll shoot at the length of the ice. No icing, though. We'll check up before it crosses the end line, and Laniel will play a quick pass for Gord Donnelly as the Aeros making changes. Here comes Lamb at center ice. He'll hit the Chicago blue line. Lamb trying to cut in with Kelly Hurd. He was pushed off the puck by Kevin McDonald, and it's finally controlled by the Chicago Wolves. Here they are at center ice. Wiseman, the pass just out of the reach of Walters. Out of the net, Gamble flings one into the corner. Fighting for it was Curry. The Aeros trying to take it away. It was Kelly Hurd. Shot one to Lamb. Lamb can't get it out of the zone. McDonald the drive. Gamble stopped that with a blocker save. Now Bancroft left side center. The pass for Curry. Knocked away by Slivchenko. Puck is loose. And trying to clear it was O'Connor. He was pushed by Greg Walters. Here's a pass in front. Curry shoots. Oh, great block by Gord Donnelly. He did it again. He got in front of that shot. And it's picked up by Lamb. Boy, we've never seen Gord Donnelly block a shot. I say that facetiously. Here is Slivchenko right side. Slivchenko worked it for Lamb. Getting set along the right side. Pass along the left wing. Hurlbut the shot. Deflected away. And we've got a puck to the far corner for Walters. Picked away by Lamb. Hurlbut winding, shooting. Wendell Young stopped it. Rebound. Krupke turning. Lets the shot go. And a stick save made by Young. Puck back to the line. Here's a chance for Slivchenko the shot, but he chipped it high and over the net. And then Mark Lamb was just imprinted into the corner. Loose puck, Krupke trying to jam it away. A chance for Lamb. He centered one right through, and now McDonald going after Lamb and working him over, but no penalty. Puck is shot down the ice. Ooh, and Lamb took a swipe at Kevin McDonald, and I'll tell you what, that was actually Kelly Hurd that was getting in there rather with McDonald. But I'll tell you what, they were going pretty good. Lamb was in there as well, and oh boy, things may be getting a little heated up here in Chicago with 6 minutes to go.
You know what, Adam, last night in Peoria, the Aeros didn't get into one altercation that I can remember. And tonight it looks like it's starting here in the first period as McDonald, I think it was Lamb, who comes up. They both come up a little bit high on this one, and afterwards McDonald had some words to say to Lamb, and Lamb takes a swipe at him. I don't think he actually wanted to hit him, just give him a little bit of a warning.
Probably wanted to
get away.
Probably just wanted to lambaste him. That's yours, Greener. I'll give you credit for it. Here's the puck back. Here's the shot by Hurlbut. Stop, rebound! Oh, what a stop by Wendell Young! Young made a great save. That would have aged the Aeros another couple of years, but Young was there. Here is Brown. He'll move to center. Pass for Malte. Tipped into the Aeros zone. Knocked away by Gamble, and then he'll sweep it over to Carl Valamont. Boomed one off the boards. It's back out at center, and Doug Crossman gathers it in at his own blue line. Crossman at the right side at center. Give it to Malte. Knocked away. Krupke blasts one ahead. And then Conroy was just belted by Pozo and then by Malte. Well, it was the Aeros we thought that needed to come out and be physical, but it's Chicago that has come out and have really taken the body to the Houston Aeros in the first period. Battle for the puck along the near side, and play is whistled down. 5:15 to go in the first, and the Wolves lead at 1-0.
And Conroy's questioning that second hit. I'm not too sure about the first one. I think he thought that the first one was fine, but after the first hit, Malte comes and finishes him off, and the puck was nowhere near him. That actually should have been a penalty on Malte, that second hit, as he was nowhere near the play. But they get away with another one. As you said, the Wolves are coming out really physical, and anything the Aeros do get on the net, Wendell Young is kicking it right out to the corner.
Young looks very sharp in the hockey game, but tell you what, down the other side to our left, Troy Gamble looks just as good. Puck is out at center ice as the Wolves lead at 1-0. 5 minutes, 7 seconds to play in the opening period. Townsend in across the Chicago line, centered one. It was tipped away. Back to the line, it's Laniel. Wine shoots, puck deflected. Wendell Young stopped it. Loose puck gobbled up. They bang away at it. Townsend shoots. Oh, he flung it just wide of the net. They had Young down and out, but I guess he was more young and restless than he was standing on his head there, and the puck was cleared down the ice. Wendell Young was out of position, down and out. The Aeros just flung it wide, and there's an icing call on Chicago. We take timeout. 4:43 to go in the first, and the Aeros down 1-0 back after this. Four minutes, 43 seconds to go in the first period. Chicago leading 1-0. They had pretty much dominated play, but Greener, here's a couple of chances for Houston.
Well, Wendell Young makes a save, and he falls back on his rear end, and that's where his problems start. And here's another problem. Townsend can't find the mark as it just floats by the far post. Townsend almost finds his 17th of the year.
Now Townsend again trying to loop one out in front. It was cleared by the Wolves, and here they come 2-on-1. Goslin a pass wide off the skates, and they'll have to regroup. Tim Berglund fired one into the Aeros zone, and Scott Arneal will take over, scoop it ahead for Freer, but that is knocked back by Al Secord. Into the Aeros zone, it was stopped by Troy Gamble. Steve Jakes will play it. Jakes from left to right. It is Jakes. Slams it off the boards. This will go down the ice, and this will be another icing call on the Houston Aeros. As McGill goes back to touch, and they'll bring the face-off into the Houston zone as Gene Ubriaco looks on.
Well, I'm sure he wants his team to keep it nice and tight and close defensively. They lost a tight one last night on a power play goal with 40-some seconds left in the game, and Gene Ubriaco wasn't too happy about that. Dave Tippett, on the other hand, last night was blessed with a victory, a 4-1 over Peoria, and this is a very big game, probably a bigger game for the Houston Aeros than it is for Chicago. But coming down the stretch here, every game's huge for every team.
Yeah. Here's a shot by Goslin. It found its way to Gamble. He'll hold on. You know, it is kind of a big game for Chicago because you look at it, Milwaukee is at home hosting the Peoria Rivermen tonight. Chicago with 26, 22, 24 record, just 1 point up on Milwaukee. I mean, we know they're going to win. They're going to be in the playoffs, but I think, you know, you look at it, 10 points separates first from last.
That is a tight division, and you're right. It's an important game for Chicago as well, but the Aeros right now have to win every one of them to really help themselves.
That's the tightest division. I mean, you know, you get in one slump and you could find yourself down at the cellar, and then find yourself in a winning streak and find yourself leading it. Here's a puck that's shot back to the Chicago blue line, held in by Slivchenko, and Tim Berglund will play. Berglund will move it up ice and shoot the puck into the Aeros zone. Ooh, Gamble was there to play it. Then he flings it along, and Berglund intercepted it. Berglund, base of the left circle, trying to move one down. Here's a chance for the Wolves. They centered one, knocked away. Loose puck, pushed away by Houston, and it's out at center ice. Kelly Hurd roll on right side for Slivchenko. Slivchenko pushed it ahead. Lamb winds a shot, and a great left pad save made by Wendell Young. And the Wolves will clear it. Berglund, the pass out at center for Duffy. Poke checked away by O'Connor, and then Duffy tripped up O'Connor, but the referee never saw it. Our referee tonight is Lyle Sykes. Steve Goslin. Pass out at center. Give it to Hurlbutt. Jammed it ahead for Maurice. Aeros bring it in. Here's a chance. Hurlbutt had a chance for Valamont. It was intercepted. It wouldn't have mattered because Valamont wasn't quite in that circle of his. He's got to be in that left circle for him to score. He's got his third goal last night in the same place he had two previous. Here's Al Conway. Wilkson down the right side. Centered a pass too far for Valamont. He'll loop one down. It went behind the net, and the Wolves take over. Now it is Steve Bancroft. He'll move it up and out at center. In across the line, Bancroft. Jammed it into the Aeros zone. Here is Walters. Centered the shot by Wiseman. He fanned on it. And it's back to the line for McDonald. Looped it down for Dan Curry. It came out in front, but Valamont was there. He'll chip it near side for Maurice. And it's knocked away. Bancroft trying to work in. He was checked by Krupke. And they continue to grapple near side. In there was Greg Walters. He's pinned in there by Carl Valamont. They continue to go at it into the boards. Dan Curry worked on by Krupke. Then down he went. Krupke trying to dig it out. And it's picked up by Greg Walters down the left side. Worked on by Valamont. The Wolves have it right side. McDonald booms one down. The puck center, but chipped away by Hurlbutt. Here's a centering pass knocked away. The Wolves controlling the play in the Aeros zone right now. Here's Wiseman, centered one. That ricocheted away. Conroy couldn't clear. Wiseman cuts to the slot. Valamont stays on. Aeros need to clear the puck. They need a line change. They still can't clear it. McDonald shoots. Score! It was a matter of time. The Wolves just stayed with it, and they go up 2-0. Kevin McDonald gets the goal.
Well, I think that puck eventually flipped up on Troy Gamble up in front there. It certainly had eyes as it came through the crowd, and it was just a seemingly harmless shot, but the puck seemed to be bouncing, and Gamble couldn't get a feed on it, and it finds a hole, and it finds a home in the back of the net. The Aeros trail it 2-0. I think it was deflected by the winger up near the point there. I'm not sure. I think it was Valamont actually got a piece of it. And eventually it finds a mark, and Gamble's being screened by Curry in front. And it just finds it between his legs. It looks like McDonald will get credit for it, as it didn't hit any other Wolves players on the way in.
Second of the year. And now Freer with a chance. Shoots. Stopped by Wendell Young. 1:35 to go. It is picked up by Graham Townsend. Townsend rolled one down for Freer. Was picked up by Pozo as Rob Brown was drilled. He wanted a penalty. Won't get it. Now the puck picked up by Chicago. Rob Brown. He's belted by O'Connor again. And then Brown gives a little shoulder to O'Connor. Boy, I'll tell you, things are getting real chippy here, folks. Rob Brown right side wanted to play the puck. He went after O'Connor, and then it went down the left side. Malte in on goal. Chopped in there. The shot blocked. I'll tell you what, Malte was literally chopped by Gord Donnelly, but he let it go. Now on the boards, it is Barral. It'll come out at center. Boy, that was a nifty play by Gord Donnelly. Now we got O'Connor, who just speared and hooked down Rob Brown, and they're going right after him. Brown, took a punch, and O'Connor's going to get nailed for retaliation. Here is the puck controlled by Freer. It's out at center, and Rob Brown is going to get nailed for a penalty. He comes up at Brown, or at O'Connor, and O'Connor wants to high-five him. Brown says, "You want to go?" I'll tell you what, O'Connor says, "No, don't waste my time."
Well, Rob Brown and Miles O'Connor went at it that whole shift. A couple of 44s going after each other, and it was a pretty rough shift. I'm surprised the penalty wasn't called a lot sooner, as Brown just kept coming after O'Connor and him giving each other some pretty good cheap shots. But eventually what's called is a Brown coming after O'Connor and taking a punch up high on O'Connor. O'Connor taking the penalty, taking the fist rather, and Brown getting the penalty.
Is that what they call a brown nose? Wow, look at that. So Brown is in the box, and O'Connor, I'll tell you, O'Connor played that perfectly, trying to bait him into a penalty.
Well, you know, it's situations like this where a referee really has to get a hold of the game and not let anything like that go on too long, because eventually other players get involved and it'll turn into a real nasty game.
Here's a shorthanded rush for Tim Berglund across the arrow line. He got behind Hurlbut, but the puck was jammed away. Berglund far side, belted by Lamb. I think the Aeros need to watch themselves on this power play. I think Lyle Sykes is just looking for a reason to even it up here, because things have gotten a little chippy in this first period. Al Conroy right side. He'll move the right side at center, shoot the puck into the Chicago zone. Wendell Young stopped it. He'll fire it along the boards, and Lamb will try to hold it at right point. He ripped it back down, and Young will escort it along the boards over to Doug Barral. He will clear it down the ice. That'll do it for the period. There's only 2 seconds left, and the Aeros will get the rest of their power play in the second period. So the Chicago Wolves come out in this first period and literally jump all over the Houston Aeros. They outshoot them 16-11, and they lead this hockey game by a score of 2-0. Brown and McDonald, the goal getters. We'll talk about that when we return. But up next, we will visit with Miles O'Connor. This is Saturday Night on Ice. Welcome back to the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago. A 2-0 hockey game in favor of the Chicago Wolves. What happened in that first period?
Well, actually, it wasn't really a matter that the Aeros didn't have a good period. It's just that it seemed like the Wolves were able to capitalize on not even their best chances. They got a couple sneaky goals, one on the power play, which was really quick, kind of surprised the Aeros. And then the second one, McDonald fed one through just about everybody, and it found a home in the back of the net. So the Aeros just couldn't get a couple of goals. They had some great chances.
Yeah, and I think you look at it, Troy Gamble faces 16 shots in that first period. Perhaps the other goal, the second one, was tough for him to see there from the McDonald, but he played pretty well. But standing by is Miles O'Connor. And Miles, thanks for joining us. With the new defensive scheme since Dave Tippett has taken over, you know, the Aero defensemen the first half of the year took a lot of heat, but now things have really changed with this new system. Is it a lot more fun? Is it a lot easier for you guys playing with this new system?
It's definitely a lot easier. Dave's put some things in place where we always seem to have a guy back. And it's definitely helped the defensemen. Like you said, we did take a lot of heat earlier on this season. You know, a lot of the high-scoring games, they seem to place the blame on the defensemen. But everybody knows that plays the game. That there's 5 people out on the ice at one time, and everybody can take the blame together. But it has helped with Dave's new system, and we've been able to keep teams, not scoring as many goals as in the past.
Miles, it got a little bit rough there in that period. Not just your incident, but a few others. Do you think this is going to be a kind of a telltale sign for the rest of the game, or is it going to open up a little bit?
I think it could be a telltale sign. I mean, it's the guys are into it. We realize it's a must-win situation for us. It's frustrating first period for us. We thought we could have got a few more calls that we didn't get, but I mean, that's the way it goes, and hopefully we can come back with some same intensity in the second and third and come away with a win.
When you guys beat Chicago in Houston 2-1, one of the things we noticed was how you guys were going after Rob Brown. Was that kind of part of the thing with you and him there late in the period?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I've played against Brown for a few years now, but I mean, he's one of their key players. He's their top scorer, and anytime you can kind of take him off his game, I guess it's definitely a benefit to us. I mean, that's just part of the game, and we'll see what happens in the next 2 periods here.
Miles, on to a couple of happier things. One of them being you and your wife Kathy are expecting, we hear, and tell us a little bit about that. Do you think a future Hall of Famer in the works there?
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, we just found out a couple of weeks ago, so that's a first for us, so we're really looking forward to it. And we don't know whether we're going to have it in Calgary, where we're from, in the summertime, or back in Houston, because it's not expected until late August. But yeah, we're looking forward to it for sure.
One other thing is your hobbies, and not many people know this, and I hope I keep getting the year right. Is it the 65 Mustang you've got?
Correct, yeah. I got a 65 Mustang that I bought a couple years back when I was with Anaheim out there in California, and it's something I enjoy working on and tinkering around with, and it's just kind of like a little toy for me, I guess.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing that when it's done, and we look forward to seeing 2 more good periods. Thanks for joining us, Miles.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, that's defenseman Miles O'Connor. Always a smile on his face. Even in the heat of battle, it's 2-0 in favor of the Chicago Wolves. And when we return, more from the Rosemont Horizon. This is Saturday Night on Ice. Chicago Wolves leading the Houston Aeros by a score of 2-0. And if you like rock'em sock'em hockey, I think the fans are going to be in for a little bit of a treat. I think as this game goes on, Miles O'Connor talking about it, he thinks it is a preview of things to come, his incident with Rob Brown. But I think that was a key point in the first period for Houston. Even though they don't score, they're going to get a power play to start the second period. But they've got to start going to the body. They didn't do it in that first period.
Oh, yeah, and I think that has something to do with fatigue. I mean, they're near the end of their road trip, and I think the fact that you're near the end of the road trip. You don't want to lay the body on it. They're going to have to start laying the body a little bit more because that's what Chicago wants to do. And, you know, we talked about going after Brown and everything. We didn't mean systematically going after him. We meant playing the body on him and not letting him get free, him or Malte. And, you know, you let them free a little bit, and they're going to do what they did in that first period to you.
All right, well, the Chicago Wolves got both goals in that first period, and the first goal, as we look at the scoring summary, came at the 2:43 mark. Rob Brown, a power play goal. In fact, it only took Brown 7 seconds to score. It was his 22nd from Brian Wiseman and Steve Malte. Chicago led it 1-0. They stretched it to 2-0. It was Kevin McDonald, his second of the year. It came from a right point shot that looked like Gamble was screened by not only Dan Curry, but by Gord Krupke, who was trying to move Curry out of there. Greg Walters and Brian Wiseman get the assist. That came with a little under 2 minutes remaining in that first period, and the Aeros find themselves trailing by a score of 2-0. But clearly, not the start the Aeros wanted, but they're far from out of this hockey game if they can come back and get the next goal.
Well, obviously the next goal is very important, and I think the way the Aeros were pressuring near the end of that period before some of the rough stuff came into play, I think they were showing that they're ready back into this game, and I think you're going to see maybe a little bit of an onslaught from the Aeros right off the bat here, as Dave Tippett's probably got them wired up right now.
I think so, and we'll see how they fare when we return. Up next, we'll have the highlights from that first period, so don't go away. Our score after 20 minutes of action from the Rosemont Horizon, it's the Chicago Wolves 2, the Houston Aeros no score. Back with that after this. First intermission, Rosemont Horizon, 2-0. The Chicago Wolves leading the Houston Aeros in a good period of hockey, especially for Chicago, the way they come out there in that first period. And a lot of intensity that was spilling over, and it leads us into the Chicago Wolves' first goal. They jumped on the Aeros early on the power play.
It certainly was on the power play. Slivchenko's in the box for hooking. Wiseman gets it down to his go-to guy, Malte, right on the goal line. Malte goes right to the net and just takes a shot. Gamble can't seem to get the corral on it, and Rob Brown jams one home on the rebound.
And that would give the Wolves a 1-0 lead, but then they come back with one from the point.
Well, the puck's cleared out to the point, and I think McDonald just takes a shot. It bounces along, and the screen in front by Krupke and looked like Curry. The puck finds its way out into the net, and it's 2-0 Chicago Wolves.
And that'll take us to our first period stats. They're brought to you by your local Texas Chrysler Plymouth dealer. They now say 15-11 were the shots on goal, so they took one away from Chicago. We had him for 16. That's 13 saves for Troy Gamble, 11 saves for Wendell Young. Both teams had 2 penalties for 4 minutes. The Aeros will have a minute 19 of a power play. That's what remains to Rob Brown when we start the second period. And speaking of Rob Brown, tell you what of a key incident. Again, we talked about it with Miles O'Connor. What a key incident down the stretch between Miles O'Connor and Rob Brown, that little incident.
Well, if you can throw a guy like Rob Brown off the game, and Brown came and retaliated on Miles O'Connor after they both were going at it the whole shift, and if you can get a guy like Rob Brown off his game, he's an integral part of that Chicago Wolf offense, and he was shaking his head on the play saying, well, we both were hitting each other, and he might have a point, but no matter which way you look at it, the Aeros find themselves with a power play.
And the Aeros, they do find themselves down 2-0, but let's also not forget the guy in the pipes to our right in that period. That was Wendell Young. He was terrific.
He did make a couple good saves. He also was a little fortunate on a couple ones where the Aeros just couldn't get a handle on it as the rebounds were laying out in front of them. But I think if the Aeros get on their horse a little bit and just start digging around that crease, they might find the mark a little more.
All right, 2-0. The Wolves lead it. And we'll bring in the second period. When we return, you are enjoying Saturday Night on Ice. Teams spilling out onto the ice, and we are moments away from the start of period number 2. The Aeros trail 2-0. However, there is a minute 19 remaining and a penalty to Rob Brown. And the Aeros will go to work on that, and tell you, they were really physical with him down the stretch there, and I think if they can continue to send a message to Rob Brown, they can be that much more effective. That is what really helped them, I thought, in the 2-0 game, or the 2-1 win in Houston.
Oh yeah, we talked about that so much right from the beginning of the show here, that the Aeros need to get on guys like Brown and Malte, because if you get on them, it'll render them ineffective, and that's what happened in the game at the Summit. The Aeros won that one 2-1, and Brown and Malte were nowhere to be found in that game, and the Aeros have to do that again tonight, but they haven't been hitting like they have been as of late. They're going to have to get that back into their game plan.
Quickly, while we have a moment, some scores around the IHL in the first period. Cleveland leading Orlando 3-2. Cleveland came from behind to win last night in a shootout. Fort Wayne 3-1 leaders at Michigan, who got hammered last night by the Cincinnati Cyclones. As a matter of fact, Cincinnati at home leading Las Vegas 1-0 in the first. Milwaukee leading Peoria 4-1. That would be 5 in a row for the River, or 6 in a row rather for the Rivermen if they lose. Detroit 1-0 in the first. In the middle of the first, Utah trailing Kansas City 1-0. Just underway, the score we're interested in: Atlanta at San Francisco, and then no score yet between Indianapolis and LA. Here it's 2-0 Chicago, and the Aeros start this period on the power play. Freer, Arneal, and Townsend with Hurlbut and Lamb. And here come the Houston Aeros. A puck to the near side. Arneal, he's belted by Bancroft. So right off the hop here in the second period, the Wolves set the tone. It is Townsend. Booms one back to the line for Lamb. Worked it over to the right side for Mike Hurlbut. Chipped it over for Mark Freer, getting set on the power play. Now Arneal turning back to the line for Hurlbut. Held it in at a right point. Quick pass, snap down low for Freer, waiting behind the net. Freer centered. Arneal chipped it back to the line. Can Hurlbut get there? Yes, he will. Pop it back behind the net for Freer. Rolled it over to Arneal. Aeros getting set on the power play, which is down to 45 seconds. They're moving the puck, but can't get into a shooting position. It is Arneal. Chipped one for Freer, base of the right circle. Give it to Arneal. Arneal, right wing boards on the power play. Arneal still with it. He's got Townsend in the slot, but instead worked it down. Here's a centering pass from Lamb on the near side, but Lamb couldn't get the shot. Hurlbut a drive. Stuck aside by Lamb, or stuck aside by Young, and Lamb's got it left side. Mark Lamb, hash marks left side with 20 on the power play. Lamb waiting some more, drifts a pass back to Hurlbut, and then his pass intercepted, and here come the Wolves, but they'll shoot at the length of the ice. They needed a line change. Joy Gamble comes out to play, and Hurlbut will control, but the power play is down to 6 seconds.
Mike Hurlbut trying to find Arneal on the back door like he did last night. Arneal with a one-timer last night that set up the power play goal for Freer.
Here's a shot by Valamont from the left circle. Needed a little more mustard on that one, though. You know, interesting story about Carl Valamont. We talked about his 3 goal screener. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but he has 3 goals. And what do they have in common, the goaltenders? They're all $1 million plus goaltenders that he's beaten. He beat Bob Asenza of Fort Wayne, John Casey last night, and Curtis Joseph from Las Vegas. So Carl Valamont has beaten some top-notch talent from goaltenders.
I was asking him before the game, hey, he had a lot of time. He had it from the top of the circle as he floated in, and he was joking. He said, yeah, the goalie gave me an extra inch on the right side.
If you're a 50-goal scorer, whatever. He sorts that out. That's good for Carl Valamont. Here's a puck deep in the Chicago zone. Valamont holds it at left point. Worked it back down low. It caroms to the far side. It was held in by Houston, but Kevin Pozo was there, and he'll meander in behind the net. The Wolves trying to clear, cannot. Valamont poked it down the left side. Greg Walters has him tied up. Battle for the puck. Laniel scooped it for Conroy. Centered a pass for Maurice. That's blocked by Pozo and cleared to center. And Wiseman trying to get behind Laniel. Not going to happen. Aeros shoot the puck the length of the ice. They say no icing as Chicago will be forced to play it. And now it's Wendell Young doing some nifty stick handling around Al Conroy. Took some chances there from without the net. The puck is in the Chicago zone. Batted down to the line. Wiseman trying to clear it for the Wolves, and he snapped it back out at center. Jake's back in his own zone. Here's Steve Jakes, the pass to the right side for Maurice. Trying to feather one for Conroy. It was deflected away. And Chicago turns to their own end. Dan Curry played most of last year with Minnesota after starting the year with the Phoenix Roadrunners. Puck is in the Aeros zone. Laniel gathers it in. Here's Laniel, a pass to the near side. Lamb popped it to the line, but Walter shoots it back into the Aeros zone. And Houston is there. Jakes to Valamont. He'll move it up ice, and it gives a pass to Lamb. He'll meander in across the Chicago blue line. Lamb trying to center one. He was worked on along the boards by McDonald. Those two just can't seem to play nice. Here's the puck for Malte. He'll move it up and out at center. Across the line, dodging a check. It's Rob Brown. Center Bancroft, and Gamble stopped that shot. And play is whistled down with 17:08 to go in the second period. 2-0 Chicago.
You know, you talk about McDonald and Lamb. I think Chicago knows how to read a score sheet and knows how to read a stat sheet, and they see where Lamb is getting points every single game. Do you think maybe their game plan has been to go after Lamb a little bit? Right here, McDonald, and it looks like Valamont hitting along, or sorry, that wasn't McDonald, but that's Valamont hitting along the boards really hard there with Greg Walters. But earlier on, McDonald hitting it up with Lamb and giving each other a couple extra shots, and I don't think that one's over with yet.
Off the face-off, it is Miles O'Connor in behind his net. The Aeros start the rush from right to left. 3 minutes gone by in the second. 2-0 Chicago. Freer at center ice. Hits the Chicago blue line. Freer with a pass right side. Here's Donnelly center. Oh, Arneal had a chance to bat one in there. And it's out at center. Here comes Brown on a breakaway. Brown right side. He's too deep though. Centered. And Freer gets back to make the play. Brown was in alone, but he was too deep to do anything with it, and Freer got back and made a nice defensive play. McDonald for Chicago. Pass ahead for Brown. Across the line, 2-on-1 with Malte. Score! Steve Malte from Rob Brown. 3-0 Chicago.
Well, like we said, those two are the dynamic duo. They feed each other, and it's usually Brown to Malte, like you just saw right there. Malte puts it upstairs over the glove of Troy Gamble, and a good job as Donnelly steps up on the play, takes his man. It creates a 2-on-1, and a good job by Brown feeding that one across, and it didn't look like Malte got all of the puck, but he got enough of it, and so he gets his 36th goal of the season from Brown.
Face-off is at center, and the Aeros gave up the goal they really couldn't afford to give up. Now they are forced to come from behind, down by 3 on the road, but they have shown they can do it. Hurlbut runs the puck along the boards, held in by Secord. He's bumped by Krupke. Loose puck, Krupke hauled down by Secord. Puck was centered, and Hurlbut was there to clear it to Slivchenko. Slivchenko out at center ice, pushed the puck into the Chicago zone. Wendell Young slowed behind the net. He will gather in the puck and shoot it along the boards. Knocked down by Slivchenko. Give it to Lamb in the corner. That's thwarted away by Berglund, and the Wolves will gather it in near side. Here is a puck that's turned over in front, but finally Chicago's Bob McGill rolls it ahead to Jack Duffy, tipped it out at center, and Houston fired it back into the Chicago zone. Steve Goslin in behind the net. He'll start it left to right. A pass to Duffy, and it's out at center for Secord. Turned it ahead for Berglund, right side, cutting in on goal. Sharp angle shot. Gamble stopped it. Rebound! Gamble stopped that. Bang away at it, and then Secord was there, but Krupke will take him off and play halted. 15:29 to go in the second. And a 3-0 hockey game. Timeout on the ice. We'll do the same. This is Saturday Night on Ice.
Welcome back to the Rosemont Horizon, as it looks like Rob Brown has a breakaway, but he gets too far down deep in the zone, and by then, sorry, that was Berglund, not Brown, as Berglund is a good job along the wing there. He just keeps his legs pumping, and he gets a good shot on goal, and Gamble covers it up.
Puck is controlled by Kevin Grant in behind the net. He's watched by Curry. Puck knocked away, and it's stripped. Here's a chance in front, and a nice poke check by Gamble. Curry trying to gather in the puck. Gamble had to save his hide there, and now it is Laniel out to center ice for Maurice. Trying to move it down the right side by Bancroft. Bancroft comes in, takes him to the board. Out of the net, Wendell Young. Now on the near side, Vallimont pinned by Curry, and here come the Chicago Wolves out at center, 2-on-2. Greg Walters across the air line, spun away, and that is offsides. And play is whistled down, and let's go down to Rob Dobson. Dobber, even though the Aeros are down 3-0, this hockey team has shown time and time again it's got a lot of character.
We started off the first period there, and I think when we come into the second, we wanted to make sure we get into better positions. You know, we've got a couple goal-scoring opportunities, and I think one thing for sure the last little while is that we have that never give up attitude. You know, even 3 goals, we can come back and get it, and I think, you know, the offense is showing signs of life the last few games. So, you know, there's a lot of time left in the clock, but we have to kind of settle down a bit and start taking care of our assignments and keep going from there.
Are you surprised how physical Chicago's come out in this period?
No, you know, they play pretty hard at home, and you know, when you play a season series like this, they're looking to get back in. We beat them in Houston, so, you know, them losing last night in Detroit, they want to come out tonight in front of their home crowd and kind of
excellent points.
Put the show on, so to speak.
Good points. Thanks, Dobber. Here come the Aeros, though. It is Townsend right side. Scoots it in behind the Chicago cage. Fighting for it is Arneal. Dropped it back to Jakes, who was centered. Knocked away by Chicago's Dan Curry. Now McDonald in a battle with Freer. They continue to grapple along the boards. It was scooped away by Graham Townsend. Chipped it behind the net for Freer. He's belted by McDonald. Puck centered, but Townsend couldn't find the handle. Tell you what, that's a great play by Freer, but Kevin McDonald's having a heck of a hockey game. It isn't Mark Lamb, it's Mark Freer, so McDonald is trying to get the marks. Here is Freer across the line. He looks for Arneal. Arneal left side trying to cut in, but his pass is intercepted, and Malte will clear it, but not out. Held in by Krupke. Krupke base to the right circle, centered, loose puck, jammed away. It's back to line. Jakes shoots. Wendell Young stopped it. Rebound, and it was jumped on by Rob Brown. He'll scamper to center ice, and now it's Malte with Greg Walters. Malte pulling up right side. Malte to Pozo, shoots, and went wide. Doug Crossman at the left point, trying to jam it down. Malte had it kicked away. Loose puck for Steve Malte, getting set on the power play. Turned it in the corner, and a delayed penalty coming up to the Houston Aeros. Jakes touches with 13.5 to go in the second period. And Houston trailing 3-0, and now they're going to be shorthanded once again.
Townsend, I think, got a little too much of Rob Brown in the corner there, and he's going to get the hold as Rob Brown was going to get a pass from Malte, but the pass missed him as Towner was holding on to him a little bit, and the Aeros finding themselves in even deeper trouble right now. They're down 3-0. They don't need to be wasting all their energy killing off power plays from Chicago, but that's what they'll have to do right now as the Aeros find themselves a little bit in a hole right now.
Yeah, third power play of the night for Chicago, and they had, as you mentioned, 8 power plays to do last night. They looked terrific last night. But I think when you're looking at the 4th game on this road trip, it's been a long road trip, even though the Aeros have played well. You don't want to be shorthanded, especially trying to come back from a 3-0 deficit. Puck is in the Aeros zone. Malte trying to move it out in front. Conroy was there, and Mark Lamb will move to center ice. Lamb in across the line, shorthanded. Conroy right in, shoots, hammered wide, rebound. Oh, Lamb had a marvelous chance, but it was wide of the net. Now it is Hurlbut, had it jammed away, and here's Curry barreling in on goal. Curry right side, but Conroy with him, takes him to the corner. And Curry in there battling for a loose puck, sends it back to the line, and it is Doug Crossman. Crossman sends it down for Wiseman, chipped it down for Brown. It was worked away by Hurlbut, but it's golfed back to Steve Malte. Base of the right circle, danced it back to the line for Wiseman. Ryan Wiseman for Doug Crossman. Lets a shot go and went wide of the net, but Karam's right to Steve Malte. Wiseman tried to work it down. It was intercepted by Gord Donnelly of the Aeros, and it's ripped the length of the ice. Wendell Young will slow it, and he'll give to Doug Crossman as the Aeros making changes with a minute to go on the power play for the Chicago Wolves. Out at center ice, it is Brian Wiseman. He'll turn it center circle, bring it in across the Aero blue line, and that is offsides, and they'll bring the face-off right back to center ice. 12:28 to go in the second. Chicago leads at 3-0. They've got 50 seconds to go on the power play. Steve Malte with a goal and an assist. We knew he'd be a factor tonight.
Well, certainly his goal didn't come on the power play, but he does lead that category in power play goals. He has 18. That's that's second in the league behind Craig Fisher with 19.
Tomorrow, after all new episodes of Kung Fu and Renegade, Arnold Schwarzenegger puts a little Russian muscle on the Windy City in Red Heat. Then Dolph Lundgren stalks the New York crime bosses as the Punisher. Lone Wolf Sundays continue tomorrow night on UPN 20. I guess that's only fitting following a Wolves game. Lone Wolf Sunday. Hopefully the Aeros won't be the Lone Wolf on this one. Maybe they can come back trailing 3-0. Puck is in the corner. Freer trying to dig it out. And Berglund worked it away to the far side. And it's scooped away by Secord. Back to the line. Now it came out in front, and Gamble will cover it up, and play halted with 23 seconds left in the Townsend minor. And a 3-0 Chicago lead.
The Aeros have tightened up a little bit on this penalty kill here, and they actually had a chance earlier on. Last night they had a shorthanded goal. Mark Freer on a 2-on-1 with Arneal, but right now it looks like the Aeros are doing a pretty good job on the penalty kill, and right after this they're going to have to turn it around and try and get going down the other way. Wendell Young hasn't seen that much action this game, and they're going to have to pepper him if they're going to think of getting back into this one.
Yeah, he saw 11 shots in the first period. I thought they tested him pretty well in the first, but really haven't done it, as you mentioned, in the second. Right now they got to worry about killing off the remaining 20 seconds and then go to work on him. Here's a puck back in front. The Wolves jump on it, trying to loop it down for Dan Curry. Curry watched by Hurlbut, popped it back to the line for Doug Crossman. Now a chance for Curry, hash marks left side. Playing it over to the right side for Bancroft. Here's a chance for the Chicago Wolves. It's down for Steve Malte. Malte, right side. He's crushed into the boards by Kevin Grant. Penalty is over. Teams are 5 aside. Puck is centered. Here's a backhander knocked in. Oh, went just wide. As trying to jam one in there was Curry. Here's another chance for Curry. Centered. The shot blocked by Maurice, and the Aeros clear it. It is Graham Townsend. A pass for Al Conroy. Pulls up left side. Trying to belt one down. That was knocked away. And Bancroft turns in his own zone. Bancroft, a pass out at center for Malte. Hits the line. Steve Malte turning. A shot went way wide of the net. Bancroft pursues to the left side. Looped it down for Wiseman. He's checked by Laniel. They go for it in the corner. Conroy trying to take it away, and it's Al Secord. Secord to Malte. One-time shot. Fanned on it. Didn't get the wood on it. Or maybe I should say didn't get the metal on it. And it's back out at center ice. McGill trying to work it ahead, but Donnelly was there for Houston. And the Aeros regroup in their own end. 10:48 to go in the second period. And Houston down 3-0. Laniel at center ice for Houston. Across the Chicago blue line. Gives it to Conroy. He pulls up, shoots, and a stick save made by Wendell Young. And The Wolves pick up the loose puck and they'll shoot it out to center ice and back into the Aero zone. Not enough for icing, as Jakes will be able to go back for it. Here's Jakes. He'll move it right to left, pass to Lamb. He'll counter at center, give the puck to Slivchenko. He's got some room to wheel. Slivchenko shoots. Oh, he went long side. He had Wendell beat, but his pass went just too far to the far side. And then Jack Duffy cleared it to the line. Jakes held it in. He'll bump it down to Slivchenko. Base of the right circle. Goslin's got him locked up. Here is Lamb. Lamb getting set. McGill takes him to the boards. Boy, bodies flying everywhere. Lyle Seitz is our referee, and he's going to let him play tonight. Puck is back in the Aero zone. Gamble comes out to play it. Now it's turned near side. Hurlbut trying to move it. Hurlbut gives it to Jakes, and he'll turn it to the right side. Out to Slivchenko trying to pop it ahead. And it's back at center. Kelly Hurd bats one into the Chicago zone. Aeros making changes with 9:40 to go. Kevin Pozo giving up for Doug Baralt. Started the year with the Atlanta Knights, but came over in a trade with Eric Dubois here to Chicago. And Corey Bolio also was involved in that deal. Bolio and Dubois are scratches tonight. Puck is into the Aero end. Here's a shot by Rob Brown. That was hammered wide, and Arneal gathers it in. Scott Arneal pass out at center ice for Graham Townsend. Lugs it into the Chicago zone. Far side pursuing was Baralt, but Freer got there. Freer for Houston, trying to get it down for Townsend. That was knocked away by the Chicago defense. And it's worked ahead. Aeros trying to control play. Moving on right now. We've had very limited whistles in this period, and play has actually settled down. I thought maybe we'd see some more rough stuff. If this game gets any more out of hand, we might. Donnelly, left side and across the line. Donnelly cuts in, centered, knocked away. Crossman ripped it along the boards, and it was Kevin Grant trying to hold one in. Now the puck sent down. Conroy lets a backhander go. That was blocked. It went to the far side. Kevin Grant lobbed one down for Conroy. Back to the line. Arneal pounds it into the Chicago zone. Wendell Young stopped it, and it will be cleared out at center ice. Carl Valamont back at his own blue line. Sends it to Grant, and now Valamont up ice for Maurice. Maurice at center ice brings it across the Chicago blue line. Maurice lost it right in the slot, and Chicago shoots it the length of the ice. Is it enough for icing? Yes, it is. If Grant can get there, Wiseman beat him. No icing. 8:11 to go. And at center ice, it's Maurice. Shoots the puck into the Chicago zone. Valamont turns. Shot blocked as McDonald got in front of it. And the puck caromed along the boards, and Steve Bancroft takes over. Boy, things really opening up here. Under 8 minutes to go. 3-0 Chicago across the line. Here is Dan Curry moving down along the boards. Hurlbut takes him to the wall. They battle for it. And it is Mike Maurice along the boards. He will shoot it back out at center ice. Bob McGill to Wiseman. He'll shoot it into the Aero zone. Gamble tried to stop, couldn't get there. Secord along the boards, couldn't control it. It's right back to neutral ice. Down to 7:28 to go. Puck is at center. And Jakes will go back for it. Gamble slowed behind the net, and here is Steve Jakes. Pass to the near side for Kelly Hurd. It's out at center and into the Chicago zone, out of the net. It is Wendell Young. We haven't had to call his name much in this period, and it's picked up by Tim Berglund. Berglund scampers at center across the line. It was a delayed offsides, and now he'll wing it into the Aero zone. Time down to 7 minutes in the second period. Aeros down 3-0. Here's Jakes in his own zone. Jakes up and out at center. He will bring it across the line with Slivchenko. Shoots, stopped, loose in front, batted away. Jakes trying to get there. He was creamed by LaFrance. Puck was centered, but Kelly Hurd, he's got it. Hurd trying to make the move. Some deft stick handling in the circle. Sends it back for Slivchenko. It jumped over his stick. Now Krupke turning. Krupke belted along the boards. Hurd getting into it right now with one of the Chicago Wolves, and Lyle Seitz play on with Bob McGill. McGill wanted Hurd. We get an icing call and a timeout on the ice. 6:33 to go in the second. 3-0 Chicago. We'll be right back. Period blowing by Greener. 3-0 in favor of the Chicago Wolves. 6:33 to go.
Well, not a lot of whistles, a lot of wide open hockey right now, and the Wolves are using a lot of speed. The Aeros trying to do the same, but Jakes gets a good hard shot and good block there in front by the defenseman, and then afterwards I think it's Kelly Hurd and McGill getting into it, and actually the referee getting in there and breaking it up. You don't see that too often, but eventually you see him grabbing onto McGill saying, that's enough. I don't want to have to call penalties on you guys. And nothing happened after that as they both went to the box.
Lyle Seitz must have a big date tonight as the puck is iced down. Seitz must have a big date or something after the game because he's just letting them play.
Well, as long as it doesn't get out of hand, that's fine. I'm sure the players like the fact that referees let them play. They can get physical and not get called on every little thing. But when it gets a little too rough, that's when the referee has to clamp down and make those calls. And he's made a few calls like that tonight, and it has opened up the game a little bit. And now if it starts to get rough, I'm sure he'll make a few more calls.
I don't know if it makes as big a difference as you as a goaltender, but I think players don't mind as long as things are consistent.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Guys actually really like to have an open game. They don't like to have too many penalties called. And, of course, if there are, they want them to be on the other team.
Puck is out at center ice, and the Wolves jump on it. Rob Brown at his own blue line. Rolled the puck ahead to Kevin Pozo, and he dumped it into the Houston zone. Back to play at Krupke. He'll reverse it along the boards, but Rob Brown waiting, base of the right circle, takes a bump from Hurlbut. In there was Freer, jammed it along the boards for Scott Arniel, and here comes Freer out at center ice. Freer hits the line. Freer rolled it, Townsend wide, shoots. Ooh, he ripped a bullet just wide of the net, and it's right back out at center. And here comes Rob Brown in across the Aero blue line, looking for Steve Malte. Shot blocked, and the Aeros are up ice. Townsend lead pass off the skates of Freer. Brown trying to roll it ahead. Those guys work so well together, Brown and Malte. I wonder if they're roomies on the road. Now it's center. Puck goes into the Aero zone, and Krupke turns it near side. Arniel lets it go out at center. Here comes Freer. Freer in a battle with one of the Wolves. It was Steve Bancroft. Arniel trying to move it through Dan Curry. Chicago in over the Houston blue line and battle for the puck along the near boards. Arniel went in there, and Kevin McDonald's back at center ice. McDonald wings it into the Aero zone. Gamble slows behind the net, and here is Mike Hurlbut. Give it to Arniel near side. He takes a check from Wiseman, and Freer couldn't clear. Bancroft shoots. Gamble left pad, saving a real tasty one there, and it's out at center ice. Here's a chance now. We've got Walters and Krupke. They're going to go. Krupke with a couple of left. This is the first we've seen Krupke fight this year, and he lets him go with rights and lefts. He was giving them both right there, and Greg Walters met up with Officer Krupke. He'll get 10-12 for that one and put in the sin bin. Wow! They're sorting that out, and we'll do some sorting ourselves when we return. It is 3-0 Chicago, and we'll be right back. It's time for tonight's second period save comparison. It's sponsored by Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut delivers. Troy Gamble, 21 saves on the night. And on the other side, Wendell Young has stopped 17 of them. But a moment ago, I guess Gord Krupke had a tall drink of Walters.
He certainly did. That's the first time we've seen Krupke get into a bout since his coming back off his shoulder injury, and it didn't look like it bothered him any. So I can say that he's definitely back 100%. That's actually the final test right there, is to see how you do in a fight, because naturally you're using a lot of the shoulders and the rotator cuff area for, you know, just wrestling and throwing those bombs, and they both threw a few.
Good golly, Miss Molly, some haymakers going on there. Puck is in the Aero zone, and Gamble will slow it. There was an extra 2 minutes to Greg Walters. Did he get an instigator for that?
Yeah, he got a double minor.
Oh, he got a, oh, okay. I didn't know if he got an instigator. So he's out of the game for now, but just because of time factor, I don't think he's been kicked out of the game. Puck is in the near side. It came out in front. It's swept away by Chicago. Now to the line, Hurlbut held it in. Scooped it down low for Al Conroy. And now it is Kelly Hurt setting up on the power play. This is a great chance for the Aeros to get back into this thing, trailing 3-0. Conroy back to the line. Gets it back in the circle. Al Conroy setting up the power play with a minute 22. Hurlbut rolled it over far side for Laniel. Here is Hurlbut, jammed it for Conroy, waiting. They've got Lamb on the far side. He's not playing the point on this power play. As Conroy wide shoots, stopped by Wendell Young, and the puck meandered beside him toward the net, and he reached back and made a save.
Well, Lamb did get a shaft of his stick on it, but just a little too much. Conroy does the right thing. He walks in, sees an opening, he takes a shot, but Lamb gets a piece of it, but just too much as it slowed the puck down enough for Wendell Young to corral it, and a good job. Conroy, he does the right thing, like I said. If you don't have anything else, you walk in and let one go, and that almost deflected into the net. Wendell Young had to be sharp there, but it had slowed the puck down considerably, and it gave Wendell Young enough time to react.
Face off in the circle to the right side of Young. Lamb trying to win the draw against Berglund. He does to Laniel. Back to the line. Hurlbut couldn't turn the shot away. It is knocked away by Berglund, and it's right back down the ice. And Hurlbut will gather it in. Quick pass over to Lamb as the Wolves making a partial line change. Lamb out at center ice, in across the Chicago blue line. Lamb cuts to the right side, now pulls up at the point, gives the pass right through the skates of Hurlbut, but picked up Laniel. Scoops for Conroy to the line. Laniel, here's a chance for Hurlbut, setting up on the power play, gives to Lamb. Mark Lamb, right wing boards, cuts one back down the right side. Hurd to Lamb, getting set in the circle. Wine shoots up, a little too much loft on that one. And it's to the line, held in by Hurlbut. Scooped it down for Conroy, getting settled on the left side. Conroy on the boards, pulls back to the line. Conroy waiting. Here's a chance for Laniel. Laniel along the left wing, into the circle, dropped it for Conroy. He was pushed in there by Wiseman. Aeros still with it, but can't get a shot away. 15 seconds left in the power play, but the puck scoots out at center. Laniel. Over to the right side, Hurlbut screams one into the Chicago zone. It's blasted away by McDonald, held by Wiseman, not out. Townsend kept it in. Townsend left side, getting around O'Brien. Wiseman check, went by to, oh, McDonald with a vicious cross check to Graham Townsend. They're going to call him on that. And now Townsend just needs to keep his cool. McDonald saying it's a dive, but while they sort it out, we'll take a quick timeout. 3-0 Chicago. And don't get a Big Mac there. He'll have one in the bin back after this.
Welcome back to the Rosemont Horizon. 3-0 Chicago leads at 2:41 remaining in this second period, but a little bit of a cross check, and I guess it's not a little bit, it's called a high stick as Townsend gets laid out right up against the boards, and he gets up, he's all right, but McDonald will go to the box, and the Aeros will have it's a 5-on-4 now as the other penalty was over, but they'll have another chance here with 2:41 to get back into this game.
Jakes, right side to O'Connor, top of the slot, shot deflected. Wendell Young stopped it, rebound! Oh, and Wendell Young held his ground. Back to the line. Here's O'Connor, wide open in the slot. The shot, score! It might have been Townsend, a power play goal. Aeros on the board, it's 3-1.
Well, another went off Townsend's stick or Wendell Young's stick, but it went right up into the top of the net. And I think if Townsend got a hold of that one, it would be his team-leading 9th power play goal as O'Connor takes a great shot. And yes, I think it did go off Young. I don't think it even touched Townsend, but a good shot by O'Connor. And O'Connor fires it low to the glove side of Wendell Young, and it goes upstairs after it hits Wendell Young's stick. It could have been Freer as well, but we'll get the official scoring on that one. But just a great job by Miles O'Connor. He gets it, and it deflects right upstairs, and that either went off Freer's stick or went off of the stick of Wendell Young. Nevertheless, it's 3-1. The Aeros get a power play goal late in the second period.
Yeah, I think Freer's the one who's going to get it there. It's a tough call, though. It's in that little scrum there. It was either Young or Freer, but if I'm going to put my money on it, they're going to give it to Freer, and he's going to have himself his 3rd goal in his 2nd game in 2 games. Playing terrific on this road trip. Puck is out at center ice. Aeros trail 3-1, and they'll bring it across the line. Arneal. Boy, if the Aeros could get another quick one here to send them into the break, even this gives them momentum. Here's Arneal right side. Looks it down. Freer trying to center it. It was batted in front. It hit the side of the net. Pozo battling with it with Arneal, and finally play is whistled down. 1:48 to go in the second period. And let's take another look at this goal here and see if it did go off Mark Freer's stick.
Well, the puck it's kept in by Miles O'Connor, and it's shot, and there it goes. Yeah, it did hit Freer's stick. It's a good call by you, Adam. He said that Freer tipped that one in. It gets underneath Townsend, and Freer, fighting off a check right in front of the net, gets his stick down on the ice. And so Freer, who's really having, like you said, a great road trip. He had a goal and assist in Atlanta, and then in Cleveland was kept off the board, but came back with 2 goals against Peoria last night, and now he's the first one on the scoreboard for the Aeros tonight is 3-1 Chicago.
That goal was unbelievable, how he was able to pick that out of the crowd and tip it in there. Off the face-off, the Wolves have got it. And they'll turn to the near side. It's shot out at center. Krupke chased it down, but it was scooped away by Malte. Malte couldn't get in there. Now the puck is turned away by Slivchenko. Shoots, and Wendell Young made the save, and he'll cover up and hold on. Houston Aeros hockey brought to you in part by Bud Ice. They are the official sponsors of Houston Aeros, and I'll tell you what, ice cold Bud Ice. They're proud sponsors also of the IHL. Answer me a question. See, we don't get the privilege of penalties brought to us here. How does Krupke not get 5 for that fight? He was out there. I guess they must have given him a double minor?
No, I think what happened is they each well, there's a double minor, to Walters, a minor to Krupke, and then they both got 5s after that, I believe.
Yeah, but Krupke's out there, and this came with 4:40 to go in the period.
Hey, maybe he's really letting him play. Because how did
he pull that one off?
I think he judged it more as more of a wrestling match than a fight.
There's a shot Wendell Young makes to say, if that's a wrestling match,
I don't want to wrestle with him.
Yeah, I was going to say, Greener, I've had worse with my brother.
Yeah. Mom throw you into each of your own rooms. Conroy gets a pass right from the face-off and gets a good shot on goal, and Wendell Young sharp there. But yeah, that's a good point. A lot of times the stats will come up here and we'll know that for sure. But I thought for sure they'd each get 5 for fighting. I guess we both.
You know, every time I think I'm learning this game, Greener, something like this happens and I'm taken back 3 more steps to where I was.
That falls under that wonderful thing called discretionary calls.
Okay. He dropped the gloves. They both threw punches, and he doesn't get 5. Oh, well. Stop your whining, Adam. He's out there, and that's good news for Houston. Puck is out at center ice, and Mike Hurlbut will play it. Hurlbut down the left side, jammed it into the Chicago zone. Back to play it, Dan Curry. Slivchenko tipped it away. Conroy with a chance in front. He centered it, but nobody there for Houston. Now Lamb turns. Couldn't get a shot away. Tipped it back to the line, and the Wolves will clear it. It's Curry 3-on-2 to Wiseman. Wiseman hits the arrow line. Centered. Blocked by Mark Lamb. It's into the corner. Lamb trying to fish it out of skates, and we're down to the final minute. Aeros have carried the play to the Chicago here in the last couple of minutes of the period. Hurlbut slams one in. It'll go to the Chicago zone. Conroy battling near side. They fight for it, and it's finally gobbled up by Wiseman. It's out at center. Ryan Wiseman shoots the puck into the Houston zone, and Gamble will slow for Jakes in behind the net. 37 seconds to go in the period. Conroy left side trying to move it, but it was Bob McGill who shot it ahead. It was pinballed through some skates and back out at center. Maurice trying to jam it ahead. He was run into by Al Secord. Tell you how many guys have had that happen to them in their career. Doug Peralta across the line, in on goal, trying to center one, knocked away with 18 seconds. Enough for a rush. Freer, lead pass, Maurice down the left side, trying to get by Goslin, who takes him along the wall. Freer comes in. Freer trying to fish it out of there. Townsend looks in front. They battle. Secord's got Townsend tied up. They continue to grapple with 5 seconds to go in the period. Now Maurice is in there, and that'll be the period. The horn will sound, and the second period comes to an end after the Aeros get a key goal by Mark Freer, and the Aeros are within 2. Troy Gamble, he gave up a goal, but really settled things down, and the Aeros trail by a score of 3-1, and now some pushing and shoving going on down there. Well, boys will be boys, and hopefully they'll get everybody off the ice. When we return, we will have more from the Rosemont Horizon. You are watching Saturday Night on Ice. Horizon, Adam Gordon with you. It is a 3-1 hockey game in favor of the Chicago Wolves, and I'm pleased to have the owner of the Houston Aeros, Chuck Watson. Aeros got a nice goal there, get him back in this hockey game.
Yeah, they did. It's very good to see there. We're getting, after 3-0, it's kind of nice to come back. They're playing real hard. They're still trying to come back. I think this last period is going to be a good one.
Now, you were in Peoria last night. You're here tonight. Why are you in town?
Well, I was in Chicago on business on Friday, and I drove down to Peoria to watch the game last night and saw some of my rollers are from Illinois. So then I came back with the team this morning to watch tonight's game. Go back with them in the morning.
Now, as the majority owner of the Houston Aeros, you're learning more and more about hockey. I mean, you're really getting into this.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I don't know how much I know about the game, but I know just enough to be dangerous now. And I kind of anticipate kind of some of the things that are going on. It's kind of fun.
All right. Well, the general managers meetings are going on, I believe, tomorrow. Are you involved with those?
No, I'm not really. Steve Patterson will attend those, and actually Pete Dedeen's going to be. There's a lot of them this time is going to be a lot more on the operations side of the business, so Pete's going to represent us in those.
Now, we talked a little bit on the broadcast last night about player salaries and the position of those as they try to come down a little bit, and the IHL tries to get a clamp from you. An owner's perspective, how do you see things going this summer?
Well, I think it's going to be important this summer because really, as you know, what we're trying to do, Adam, in the whole league is really to make this an affordable for families and kids, and we can't let this thing get out of hand. We've had some significant increases in the league in the last couple of years. So what we're really trying to accomplish is get some sort of a system that allows us to be competitive and put on a good entertainment, and yet not get our prices and tickets so far out of line that we can't put on the kind of product we've been putting on the last few years.
Yeah, and it seems like you guys are close to getting everything into place here. I think you're just a step away from all that.
Yeah, I have every reason to believe. I'm pretty optimistic it's going to happen the next couple months.
And the best part is you're having fun. Everyone's having fun.
You know, everybody's having fun. The people in Houston, this place is going crazy tonight. They got, I guess Chicago had a pretty tough game last night, and so they're coming back hard today, and I'm looking for a tough third period.
All right, well, we thank you for stopping by.
Thank you. Good to see y'all.
All right, that's the owner of the Houston Aeros, Chuck Watson. The Aeros trail 3-1. When we return, more from the Rosemont Horizon. We'll be back after this. Back in the Rosemont Horizon, Adam Gordon, Mike Greenlay. It's a 3-1 hockey game in favor of the Chicago Wolves. Tell you what, just before Mark Freer scored that goal, Greener, the Aeros started to put the pressure on him, and they really control, I thought, the last 3 or 4 minutes of that period.
Well, maybe even more than that. It came out in that second period, and I thought it was a little bit of the same as the first, but they've come back and put some pressure on, and if they can get one early in the third, it could be a different game.
You know, I'm thinking maybe the Krupke fight was the one that turned him around a little bit.
Well, certainly, it got the guys' blood flowing a little bit. They said, hey, we still want to win this game, and they came out and got a good goal on the power play with McDonald in the box, and hey, might have lit the fire.
All right. Well, we'll take a look at the scoring summary. And as we said, we're going back into the second period. And Steve Malte got his 36th of the year from Rob Brown, and Steve Bancroft did .330. And the Aeros were down by a score of 3-0. Then later, Gord Krupke got into a fight we think may have motivated the Aeros. And then the Aeros went on the power play. And Mark Freer tipped in his 13th of the year, a power play goal. And Miles O'Connor and Steve Jakes getting the assist. That's 2 straight games now that Miles O'Connor has an assist. And the Aeros are within 2, and they trail by a score of 3-1. Well, a lot of conditioning takes place, not only aerobically, but anaerobically. It's very important for a hockey player or any athlete's training, and that is our subject tonight as we take time out for good health.
Time Out for Good Health is presented by Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation. A new commitment in healthcare together.
Welcome to Time Out for Good Health. An essential part of many conditioning programs is anaerobic and strength training. Let's go to the Aeros Conditioning Laboratory to see how their program is designed to help prevent injuries on the ice. Tonight we're going to continue our discussions regarding the forms of conditioning. We've previously covered aerobic conditioning. Tonight we're going to talk a bit about anaerobic conditioning. Jerry?
Anaerobic conditioning is done predominantly with our hockey team, done with the weightlifting equipment. And we use it predominantly for injury prevention. Of course, we also use it to gain muscle strength and muscle mass. Hockey players translate a little bit like football players in that size and speed are very, very important. So we use our weightlifting equipment to gain the strength that's required to play the sport, helping the checking and so forth on the boards. And then we also try to train to prevent any injuries that could occur. Hockey players, again, translates well to American football players in that the injuries are quite similar. It's mostly bumps, bruises, sprains, strains, all somewhat preventable from a good injury prevention standpoint with weightlifting and muscle training.
Remember to always check with your physician before beginning a new exercise program. Please join us at the next game for another session of Time Out for Good Health. At that time, we'll discuss safety equipment.
Time Out for Good Health was presented by Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation. A new commitment in healthcare together.
Columbia Healthcare partners with 16 neighborhood locations in the greater Houston area. No other hospitals come close. It is 3-1 Chicago, and when Greener and I return, I'll look at the highlights. This is Saturday Night on Ice. Back in Chicago, Adam Gordon, Mike Greenlay, 3-1 hockey game in favor of the Chicago Wolves. Aeros come out in the third period. They need to take over where they left off in that second. Probably look for maybe the first 5 minutes, get a goal here.
Well, certainly they have to come out really hard. They have to come out as hard as Chicago did right at the beginning of the game. And they have to play the body a little bit and get some shots on Wendell Young. He hasn't seen a lot of work, but when they do get shots on them, they're usually good ones. They need to do that right away.
You know, we kind of saw it play not as physical midway through that second period as we did in that first. Then it picked up down the end. Did the Aeros have anything left to take it and make it physical down the stretch?
Oh, I think so. I think the Aeros are an exceptionally are in good shape. I mean, they work really hard in practice, so they should have something left for this third period.
All right, let's take a look at how the Chicago Wolves went up 3-0 in that period. It starts with a big hit.
Well, it does, as Donnelly steps up on the play and gets a good hit there, but the only problem is no one was back to cover for him, and Rob Brown makes a nice feed right across, and hey, that's not the first time that's happened. Malte right there on the doorstep puts it upstairs.
And it would be 3-0, but the Aeros get a lovely goal here from Mark Freer.
Well, Miles O'Connor just does the right thing here, takes a good hard shot, and he puts it in the right spot because Freer's right on the doorstep, fights off a check, and gets his stick on this one, tips it up high into the net, and that will get the Aeros back into this game.
That's what they call putting the biscuit in the basket. The Aeros are within 2 heading into the third period, and it's time to look at the second period stats, and they're brought to you by Whataburger. Hey, what you waiting for? Aeros outshot Chicago 12-8 in that second period. 11 saves for Wendell Young, 7 for Troy Gamble. The Aeros with 2 penalties for 4 minutes. The Chicago Wolves 2 penalties for 6 minutes. Aeros went 1 of 3 on the power play, and the Wolves went 0 for 1. When we return, exciting third period action. Don't go away. 3-1 Chicago. It's Saturday night on ice. It is a 3-1 hockey game heading into the third period as Troy Gamble getting his crease ready. And I'll tell you, the Aeros need to come out here and try and bear down and get themselves a goal. They're down by 2. On the other side, Wendell Young was not tested as much, although a little bit more down the stretch by the Houston Aeros. And it's going to make for an exciting third period. A good look at the Rosemont Horizon. The seating here, it's not conducive to really enjoying the game at a good premium angle like it is at the Summit. They're a little flatter here, but I'll tell you, a great crowd on hand tonight, better than 10,000 I'm sure here tonight, enjoying this one, and it makes for exciting hockey. Chicago people, they kind of know how they love their hockey there.
Well, yeah, they certainly do, and they're trying to duplicate what the Chicago Blackhawks do in their national anthem, and that is drown out the singer as they cheer so loud that you usually can't hear them, but still a good franchise here in Chicago and doing really well in the IHL.
Yeah, the Wolves organization has done a terrific job here. And speaking of terrific job, Troy Gamble in his 4th straight start has done a decent job tonight. And Wendell Young, who has given up just the 1 goal, he'll be put to the test in the third. Freer with Arneal and Graham Townsend. It'll be Donnelly and O'Connor defensively. And Mark Freer has the only Houston goal to go along with 2 that he got last night. And the 1 that he scored, in fact, he had a goal and an assist in Atlanta. So this is turning out to be a heck of a road trip. Could Mark Freer finally get her going here? We'll see. Looks
I think
like
he already has.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be projecting in the future. Maybe I should start talking currently. Here's Freer at center ice, overskated a loose puck. And Brian Wiseman turns at center. Wiseman turned it back into the Houston Aeros zone. Gamble will slow it, and Gord Donnelly will lug it in behind his net. Donnelly chipped a pass ahead. It was too far for Freer to go down the ice. And this will be icing as Steve Bancroft goes back. He will touch, and they'll bring the faceoff back into the Houston zone. In a period such as what we saw, Greener, in the second, where we had about a 6-minute span without a whistle, obviously it doesn't help the Aeros in the sense when you're trailing 3-0. But if it were a tighter game, does something like that really help the Aeros when it's that wide open like that in a game like this?
Well, it's kind of tough because, I mean, the Aeros want to, as long as they're the ones getting the pressure, I'm sure they don't mind. Mark Freer, with his 13th goal of the season there, to bring them back helps a lot. But I mean, in a wide open hockey game, you have to realize that there's going to be more goal scoring chances for both teams usually, unless you're dominating down deep in their zone. And the Aeros seem to get a good jump off of that.
Puck is controlled by Chicago. Berglund in the corner, centered one. LaFrance let it go, and it went back to the line for Bob McGill. Checked by Kelly Hurd. Puck down in front, batted away by the Aeros. They'll jump on it, move to center. Here comes Conroy. He's knocked off the puck behind by Secord. Here is Lamb. Right side hits the line. Pulls up center. Conroy. Stop, rebound. They score! Kelly Hurd. Off the rebound, and the Aeros are within 1. It's a 3-2 hockey game, and they went right to the game plan. Get one early, Greener.
They certainly did. It was a great play by Lamb to keep it into the zone, and he feeds it across, and somehow it gets across to Kelly Hurd after it's poked away. And Wendell Young is doing his imitation of the Zamboni as he's sliding across the ice, and Kelly Hurd just pots his 8th of the year. Relatively easy goal for that man, Kelly Hurd, but he'll take it, and the Aeros only trail it by 1.
And Gino Briaco, the head coach of the Wolves, will count it with Rob Brown, Steve Malte, and Doug Barol. Aeros come out with Lamb, Conroy, and Hurd. That's the line that just scored. It's a 3-2 game here in the third. And the Aeros drill it back in. It's Hurlbutty creamed it into the Chicago zone where Wendell Young will slow. Crossman turns behind the net. Crossman to the right side. Booms one out at center. Turned away by Hurlbutton. Knocked ahead by Kelly Hurd. Here is Doug Crossman. Winds a pass out at center. And it was chipped away by Brown. Krupke gives him a bump. It's out at center for Lamb, but Crossman turned him off the puck. Here's Al Conroy, right sided across the line. Conroy barreling in on goal. He centered. Oh, but it was tipped away by Doug Brawl. He reached back and made a nice defensive play, and Chicago's up 3-on-2. Brown across the line. Brown cuts down the left wing, looking for Steve Malte. Rob Brown looks in front, but it was knocked away by Krupke, and Conroy will turn it his own end. It is Conroy. A pass for Kelly Hurd. He'll move it up ice with Lamb. Hurd dumped it in, and the Aeros will make a line change. Just about 2 minutes gone by in the third. And a 3-2 hockey game. Puck dumped into the Aero zone. Here's Brown smoking in there. Gamble knocked it away. It's a loose puck drilled right in there. Gamble stopped it. It's loose, and Laniel will smack it down the ice. This will be an icing call as the Chicago Wolves go back, and Steve Bancroft will touch, and play is whistled down, and Rob Dobson is standing by. Dauber, what was Dave Tippett talking about in the locker room after going down 3-1?
Well, you know, Adam, if you looked at the second period there, we had some really good opportunities to score. We gave up that one odd man situation on the 2-on-1 where they got a goal, but it was a pretty good period for us. We were able to get that goal late and really get back into the hockey game. And, you know, with the early goal here on the third, it's a point of just us needing to win a hockey game and more or less take some chances here and try to get some good offensive scoring opportunities. And, you know, tighten up our defensive coverage, which we did in the second period, and just keep taking a play to them.
Hey, Dauber, do you have a mouthful of popcorn right now?
Bubble gum.
All right. Puck is controlled by Chicago into the Aero zone. Brian Wiseman behind the net. Turns in front. He center one, but it was behind everybody. It's gobbled up by Arneal and moves up ice. I was kind of laughing. Well, I'll get to this in a second. Hold on. Dan Curry rips his shot. Gamble stops it, and it's along the boards. Arneal will shoot it the length of the ice. It will be deflected. No icing. I was laughing because while Dobson was talking to us, there was a fan looking through the glass, and the fan turns to the person that he was sitting with. He says, "That goalie's talking by himself." We know better. Here's the puck back into the Chicago zone, and the Wolves will clear it. Wiseman chipped it into the Aero zone, and Gord Donnelly goes back to play with 3 minutes gone by in the third. Puck smacked to center and into the Chicago zone. This will be icing if the Wolves get there. McGill in a race with Maurice. He got there, and play is whistled down as Maurice got there in the nick of time. He thought, but they say no, and icing will be the call. Let's take a time out. Chicago holding on. They lead it 3-2. We will have Mo right after this. Prime Sports will return to the airways with the Houston Aeros on February 14th as it's a special Valentine's Day edition. The Aeros and the Minnesota Moose. I don't think there'll be much love on the ice. Most of it will probably be in the stands, but you can catch all the action on Prime Sports and, of course, on Super Talk Radio 950 KPRC. Puck is in the Chicago zone. Back to the line. Laniel held it in. Tees it up. Wine shoots. Deflected wide of the net. Picked up by Goslin. He's watched by Lamb. Fired it off the boards. It's up and out of play. The Aeros will get a face-off in the Chicago zone. I'll tell you what, the Aeros have come out here in this third period. And there's former Aeros Steve Goslin. Here's a guy that has been terrific as of late for the Chicago Wolves. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 3 games, and he's really starting to pick up his play. The big book on him is he just doesn't have the size. Dave Tippett has always said last year that Goslin had a lot of speed, but he had strength, but no size to go with it. His strength is limited to his size also. I mean, if he had another 3 or 4 inches, he'd be a pretty good defenseman. Puck is shot into the Chicago zone. Jammed to the near side. Jake's trying to move it along the wall. In there, Maurice trying to dig it out. Out is Al Secord. He's tumbled down to the ice, and Bob McGill is there. Bumped it up the boards. Valalot held it in. Slivchenko with a tance. Here's Slivchenko at the circle left side. Slivchenko wheels, deals, looks behind the net. Great job of puck handling. Here's Slivchenko getting set back to the left side. Jakes slipped it down too far for Slivchenko. Gathered in by Maurice. Battle for the puck in the corner. Maurice cuts in, but it was swept away by Goslin. It is Maurice, pushed along the boards by Goslin. It's fished out of skates by Al Secord. He'll move it up and out at center, a lead pass. Here's a chance, but it was chipped away from Kevin McDonald, and Bob McGill goes back into his own end. McGill, he'll move up and out at center. The pass into the Aero zone. Jake's chased it down to the corner. Here is Steve Jakes in behind the net, and away he will come. Jakes, the pass for Graham Townsend, trying to roll it ahead, but Doug Baralt took it away. Chicago back in their own end with 4.5 gone by in the third, and a 3-2 hockey game. Chicago leads it, but the Aeros with some momentum. Townsend in his own end, hard off the glass. It came out at center, and here comes Freer across the line, but he lost the puck. And it was jammed away by the Chicago Wolves. Krupke turning, but a whistle as the puck had come out at center, and that's an offsides call. With 15:22 to go in the third, 3-2 Chicago.
Gord Krupke showing that he is back in every aspect. Playing pretty good tonight, doing his job defensively, and was on the ice, unfortunately, for that goal that found its way through the maze of people.
He did what he had to do. I mean, he had Curry tied up. He was just screening his goalie. And that's tough. We don't have the privilege to know if Gamble was yelling at him, hey, screen, screen, screen. I mean, you play enough with Gamble in practice. Is he very vocal out there?
Well, it's different in practice than in a game, too, though.
True.
Guys might be very vocal in a game, but just be satisfied to stop the puck in practice.
That's true. Here come the Houston Aeros. Miles O'Connor in across the Chicago blue line. Ripped the shot upstairs on Wendell Young. He stopped it, and Rob Brown's off to the races. Gamble got there, though. Gamble will play the puck in behind the cage, and here is Gord Donnelly, flushed out by Brown. Donnelly smacked one ahead for Conroy. It's back out of neutral ice. Aeros trying to jump on it, but it's flung back into the Aeros zone, and we got a whistle.
Miles O'Connor taking a good hard shot there, and Donnelly seems to be getting into it with Brown and Malte now, and
I'd like to see that.
I don't think that would be a pretty ugly fight, I think, and really one-sided. But
well, McDonald wants to go with Donnelly, and those two I'd love to see. I think Donnelly's waiting for his chance to get after McDonald.
Well, the one thing the Aeros have to do is keep in mind they still trail this game by a goal, and a penalty at this point wouldn't be good for them, but if he can take Brown off the ice in an even up call, I'm sure he wouldn't mind at all.
Kevin McDonald still glaring at him.
Graham Townsend looking on, and the Aeros have pretty good toughness all the way throughout. Talk about plugging along. Graham Townsend has certainly done that. He has 16 goals this year and almost had his 17th tonight earlier on.
A couple of times.
Assists. Yeah, so he's really doing well, and he just keeps getting his points and doing his job, and that's all you can ask from a player.
And you know what? All Dave Tippett can ask for from his hockey club is to put themselves in a position to win.
And they have been. They have been pretty much in every single game.
Outside of Phoenix.
Yeah, well, there's been a couple bad games, but every team's going to have those. But the one thing about the Aeros is they give themselves an opportunity to win almost every game they're in now, and that's just good for them because eventually you can start winning those games.
Tippett 7-5-2 as head coach, and looking to make it 8, but he's got some work to do. Down 3-2, but lots of time remaining. 14:43 to go. Aeros need to turn it up one more notch here and dig down deep, and it'll be a happy plane ride back to Houston. Puck is in the Chicago zone. The Wolves have got it. It's smacked out at center for Dan Curry. He'll swing it ahead. It was blocked by Donnelly. Now fired back at center. Here come the Chicago Wolves. Steve Bancroft in across the line. That puck goes out of play. 14:22 to go, and a face-off will be brought back out at center ice, and the Aeros will go and make a line change. The fans got himself a souvenir.
You know, we talked a lot about the team, the Chicago Wolves. We talked about Malte and Brown, but this team's pretty deep elsewhere as well. There's Wiseman, who has an assist tonight. And the thing is, they have guys like Curry, and actually Curry is kind of a threat at home. He has 17 goals for 29 points at home in 24 games, but on the road he isn't successful. He must really like this building.
Not much of a Mel Gibson fan. Never did like Road Warrior, huh? Here's Gord Krupke, swings the puck in the Chicago zone. That's kind of been the story of Dan Curry most of his career. He can shoot the puck, though. I mean, he is a talented offensive player when he really goes at it. Here's Mike Hurlbut, slams it into the Chicago zone. Back to play at Kevin McDonald. He'll turn in behind the net. McDonald pushed by Slivchenko, and Bancroft is there. It's shot ahead. Krupke trying to hold it in, and Krupke lowered the boom on Wiseman. Here's a quick shot by Maurice. A blocker save made by Wendell Young. And the Wolves heads up, fired over the glass. Geez, Bancroft had that looked like one of my new DCI sand wedges going over the wall there. He got a lot of loft on that, but the fan. Tell you what, a lot of kids here tonight. And we talked about the great crowd, but the kids That's where they really love this, and kind of talking about what Chuck Watson was saying in the second intermission. I was talking about how it's just a great entertainment the way this IHL is going, and it just never ceases to amaze me how many kids go. And I'm wondering if Miles O'Connor's kid is going to come to the games.
Well, he probably will, as Krupke lowers the boom on Wiseman. They were going at it a little earlier on in the play, and again, you'll usually see guys run into each other later on if that happens.
Here's a puck loose in the slot, picked up by Freer. Mark Freer skates back to the circle, sets up, lets the shot go, deflected, rebound!
Oh, Wendell Young! Oh, man, had to look behind him if he doesn't get there. Arneal's got the entire ocean to shoot at, but wow, there was Wendell Young. He'll hold on.
Mark Freer, a really smart play here. He'll dump it towards the net, a good hard pass, and it'll deflect off a couple people and gets in there, and eventually Wendell Young's able to corral that a couple more inches, and maybe Arneal would have had a swat at it and tied this game up.
Well, they can't all be gems now, can they? Face off to the left side of Wendell Young. Freer with Arneal and Townsend. Donnelly and O'Connor off the face-off. Aeros have it. Here's Miles O'Connor. Wine shoots. Ooh, deflected away by Rob Brown. Puck picked up by Townsend. Looped it behind the cage. Brown trying to grapple it in the corner. Picked away by Freer. He centered it. Knocked away. Here's the shot.
Right on Wendell Young, the save. You talk about Graham Townsend plugging along. He was more like unplugged on that one as he uncorked a big drive, and Wendell Young makes the save.
He scored from that exact same spot last night in Peoria, and he gets a good feed out in the slot and just lets it rip. The problem is the puck was a little bit on its edge, and he really didn't get all the wood on it that he could have, and it drives it into the chest of Wendell Young, who does hang on to the rebound. Wendell Young has played quite well tonight, keeping the score down to only 2 goals.
Nicknamed Swindle, and I think he got away with one there. It is shot by Steve Goslin. It'll go to the length of the ice. Chased down by Laniel, and the Aeros turn it around. 7 minutes gone in the third, and a 3-2 Wolves lead. Puck is out at center. Townsend after it. Goslin got there, and he fired it out of play.
So with a period like the second that was so wide open, this period's been plagued with whistles.
Yes, and that means a timeout is due us. 7 minutes gone by. In the third, it is Chicago 3, Houston 2. Back after this. You're not going to have time, I don't think. 3-2, Chicago leads it, 7 minutes gone, and there's a nice save by Wendell Young and a face-off out at center ice. Off the face-off here is Mark Laniel. He'll hoist it into the Chicago zone, and Goslin picked it up in the corner, and he'll smoke one out to the far side. Wolves trying to clear. Laniel held left side, and Laniel will flip it back behind the net. Here's Jake's near side. Trying to loop it for Conroy, chipped away by Goslin. Here's a chance back to the line. Laniel tees it up, shot deflected, and Kelly Hurd gathered it in. He had Conroy in front, but didn't see him. In there's Al Secor. He battles with Lamb, and it's flipped along the boards. Jake's pinching right side. He was pushed in there by Berglund. Goslin's got Lamb tied up along the boards. Lamb trying to fish it out of skates. They grapple some more, and play is halted as they'll bring the face-off to the left side of Wendell Young. And with a face-off coming up to the left side, let's go down to Rob Dobson. Dauber, the Aeros need to seem they've got the momentum coming into this period after scoring that goal. How do you see things going right now?
You know, Adam, you look, we've had a couple good chances. Arnie in front there just got robbed a little bit, and then Graham had a good chance and hit Wendell almost in the head. But you know, we've had some good opportunities. We really take care of our own end. The defense are making smart pinches to keep the play in, and we've got some real good chances here. You know, we got a lot of time left on the clock, and most importantly thing for us is we don't have to panic. We have enough time that we can score a goal and go ahead. So just keep playing the way we're playing, and things will work out.
Thank you, Dauber. Face-off left side of Swindle. Wendell Young. Puck won by the Wolves. Bancroft right side. Snapped out at center by Brown. Wolves trying to bring it ahead. It was knocked away. Malte gathered it in, looking for Barral. Loose puck picked up by Doug Barral. He'll fire the puck over to Doug Crossman. Now over for Malte. He's jammed in there by Valamont. Here comes Crossman. Pass for Brown. Looped it down. Cutting in. Here's Mabral. Makes the move. Cuts in, but the Aeros are over there to pop it away. Slivchenko scampers to center. He's got some room. Slivchenko across the line. Lost the puck, though, as Bancroft poke-checked it. Now Slivchenko trying to get it back along the near boards in the Chicago zone. It was knocked away by Malte. He and Krupke go at it near side. In there was Maurice. He tries to muscle it along the boards. And they continue to grapple. Slivchenko fishing it out of skates. Finally, Bancroft cleared it out at center. Malte's pass for Brown, intercepted. Malte gets it back. Run into by Arneal. Here's Krupke, and he hoists it into the Chicago zone. Crossman with 11:20 to go, and Chicago holding on to a 3-2 lead. A long lead pass batted down by Graham Townsend. Into the Aero zone it goes. Donnelly will go back to play it. Donnelly smacked one out at center for Townsend. He looped it ahead, but it was behind Freer. And the Wolves bring it in transition. Wiseman belted by Donnelly. And it's cleared back into the Aero zone. Here is Miles O'Connor. The pass ahead for Arneal. Give it to Donnelly. Here comes Donnelly at center with Townsend. Ripped the shot. Young stopped it. Rebound. And it was shot out of there by Kevin McDonald. Now the puck is worked out at center for Wiseman. Trying to move it up ice. Donnelly poke checked it. Arneal hooked Wiseman down. Here is Curry. He'll smoke it into the Aero zone. Stuck aside by Campbell. Miles O'Connor lobs a pass for Freer. He's checked into the boards. Goslin moving in. Centered. Blocked by O'Connor. And the Aeros are off to the races. 2-on-1. Here's Townsend with Freer across the line. Freer cutting in. Townsend pulls up and couldn't center the puck. Now Townsend getting set. Gives it to Freer along the left side. Freer is belted in there by Goslin. And it's tipped into the corner. Fighting for it in there was Dan Curry, muscled by Graham Townsend. They continue to go at it hard into the corner, and finally whistle stops play with 10 minutes, 11 seconds to go in this third period in a 3-2 hockey game. And it's time to look at the shots on goal, brought to you by High-Low Auto Supply. What you need is high-low. Shots on goal in the hockey game. The Houston Aeros with 30, Chicago Wolves with 25.
Good hard shot here by Donnelly as he puts one on net, and a good pad save by Wendell Young. Pretty far out shot, but Donnelly looking for his 4th of the year.
Donnelly has gotten his goals in a timely fashion. And a face-off to the right side of Wendell Young. Timmy Berglund trying to direct some traffic. And a face-off to the right side of the netminder Wendell Young. Off the face-off. The Wolves trying to bring it ahead. It's out at center ice. Here comes Chicago now. Berglund in across the line. Berglund pulls up, centered one. That's chipped away. Came to Al Conroy. Conroy bangs one out at center, and Bancroft is there. Here is Gamble. He'll leave it behind the net for Jakes, and Jakes will rip one out at center ice, and here come the Houston Aeros. Mark Lamb. He'll bring it across the Chicago blue line. Turned with a shot. It was blocked. Loose in the slot. Laniel pinching. It went to the corner for Secord. Jumped on by Berglund, and it goes right back into the Houston Aeros zone. 9:35 to go in the third period in a 3-2 hockey game. Jakes goes back, and that is an icing call on Chicago with 9.5 to go.
Steve Jakes leads this, or sorry, is second on the team in plus-minus at +5, and Gord Krupke's up there as well, but Carl Valamon is at a +7 right now. You look at the Chicago Wolves, and Steve Bancroft is way up there at +15, so he isn't too bad a guy to have on the ice all the time.
No. Face off to the right side of netminder Wendell Young. Looks like the Chicago Wolves equipment manager enjoying this one. He's into it. Doug Barral, we talked about him, started the year with the Atlanta Knights, came over in a trade that sent Lee Davidson and Sean Rivers to Atlanta. That trade has helped both hockey teams. Puck is controlled by Houston in the Chicago zone. And here's a centering pass, but Malte swept it out. No, it was held in by Houston. Now Slivchenko turning in the Chicago zone. Slivchenko works it for Maurice, base of the right circle. They grapple for it. It went to the corner. It's gobbled up by Chicago Steve Malte. He'll lob the puck out at center and into the Houston Aeros zone. Chasing for it is Gord Krupke. They will call this icing on the Chicago Wolves, and play is whistled down with 9:01 to go in the third period. And the Aeros down a goal by a score of 3-2, and we will return with more IHL action from the Rosemont Horizon. This is Saturday Night on Ice. Aeros down a goal with 9:01 to go in the third, and a face-off to the right side of Wendell Young. Conroy with a big face-off against Doug Barral. Sticks are down between Conroy and Barral. Drop of the puck, and Barral win the draw. It's controlled by Pozo as he heads in behind the net. Pozo fired one off the boards. Ooh, that went off Brown, and he got it out at center ice. Brown, Barral, and Malte. This is the line that's done it for him. Brian Wiseman's got a couple of assists for him. And the Wolves up 3-2, but the Aeros have had most of the momentum here in the latter stages of the hockey game. Here's Mark Lamb, ripped it into the Chicago zone, fires off the ball, came down low for Doug Crossman. Crossman trying to move it up ice for Baralt. Can he clear the zone? Yes, he does. Right out to Rob Brown. Poke check though by Mark Lamb, trying to get it back across the line, but Baralt was there and he smoked it back out at center. Brown ahead for Malte, too far, and the Aeros will go back for it. Gord Krupke in his own end, passed the puck to Lamb. He threw it off the skates of Conroy. Conroy got it into the Chicago zone, out of the net Young as the Aeros making changes. 8:10 to go. Here's a puck behind the net. Kelly Hurt fighting for it. It was jammed away. Now Donnelly pinched down. Here's a chance in behind Hurt. Centered. Oh, they big away to lose puck. It's in skates. Hurt couldn't get there. It was fished out by Rob Brown. There were 3 Aeros around the puck, and Brown cleared it to Crossman. Across the line with Jack Duffy and Steve Malte. Centered. Brown right in. Oh, it hit Donnelly almost in the face. Talk about sacrifice there. And the puck went down. Gord Donnelly makes a big play there. Here is Freer. He'll move up and out at center. Shot it in across the line. A centering pass too far. Now it's worked in there. Here is a puck worked back out at center ice. Donnelly shot it into the Chicago zone. Now let's work to the near side. Townsend's got it, but the Aeros were off sides in play. It's whistled down. 7 minutes, 17 seconds to go in the third in a 3-2 hockey game.
Scott Arneal with a couple chances in this third period, being tied up in front of the net, unable to get any chance. But right here, Gord Donnelly, talk about sacrificing your body. A slap shot goes right off. I mean, right up underneath his chin. It didn't hit him in the face, but right up on the shoulder pad. And hey, Gordo, we love you blocking shots, kid, but we don't want to see you going off on a stretcher. There's the ultimate sacrifice in your body right there. As you know, those defensemen don't have the kind of padding that obviously a goaltender does up top in the chest area. And boy, he gets down in front of Rob Brown from that distance. Great play.
Night in and night out, he's been the best shot blocker for the Aeros this year. Wiseman turning in his own zone, gives the puck to Goslin, snapped out at center. And it's chased down by Laniel at his own blue line. Mark Laniel, he'll turn in his own end. Aeros need a goal with 6:52 to go. Down 3-2. Jakes up and out at center. Pass Lipchenko, hits the line, looking Valamont. It's rolled along the boards. Wiseman knocked it free. Battle for the puck. It came down to the corner. Duffy gathered it in. Jack Duffy was there. Lobbed it along the boards. It is chased down by Dan Curry and right back out at center ice. In goes Laniel. He'll turn in his own zone. Laniel up ice. A pass for Valamont. Belted off the puck by Bancroft. It'll go right back down into the Aero end. Jakes. He'll work the puck up to the left side. Laniel poked it out at center, but the Aeros went ahead without it. And Berglund shot it into the Aero zone. Al Secord, left side, centered one, picked up by Berglund, trying to move it through Lamb. Berglund, checked by Lamb in the corner. Secord working hard. He's got Jakes on his case. It's along the corner now. Lamb and Secord go after it. Lamb takes it away, and Conroy can move it out at center ice. Al Conroy with Kelly Hurt across the Chicago blue line. Conroy belted into the boards by Bancroft, who takes him in there. LaFrance is in there, and the puck is frozen, and play whistled down. 5:46 to go in the third, and a 3-2 Chicago lead.
Bancroft throwing his weight around a little bit. He did up on the blue line there on Valamont, and then again in the corner on Conroy. Conroy has taken a lot of hits tonight, but keeps chugging, keeps working down in that corner, and did a good job on that second goal, getting it over to Hurd. And Hurd dumped it into the net for his 8th of the year, and that's where they find themselves. The Aeros are trailing by 1 and have really dominated this period, putting considerable amount of pressure on the Chicago Wolves, but haven't been able to get more than just that one.
Face off in the circle to the left side of Wendell Young. Mark Lamb will take the draw. He's out there with Conroy and Hurd. Krupke defensively with Mike Hurlbutt. And a false start. Wiseman started early, and he will be tossed. He pleads his case. Oh, I think Lamb's going to be tossed as well. Or is he? No, he'll stay in there. So Tim Berglund will come in to take the face-off. Lamb against Timmy Berglund in the circle to the left side of Wendell Young. Puck is kicked into the near corner. Here is Kelly Hurt in the corner to the right side. Give it to Hurlbutt. He's watched by Crossman. Puck chipped loose. Fished out in there, Tim Berglund. It's kicked along the board. Scraped away by Berglund. Snapped into the scrum again. Battling in there was Hurlbut. It's jammed over to Wiseman. Can he clear the zone? No. Second effort, no. Third effort, yes. Here comes Berglund. A pass for Secord, too far. It goes down behind the net. Krupke's in there. He's got Secord on him, taken into the boards. Now it is Al Conroy who threw it right off Tim Berglund, and Conroy sends back into his own end. Gives the pass to Lamb, right wing boards. He'll move it up and out at center ice. Lamb right side, got it into the Chicago zone. Out of the net, it's Young. Swings it over to the far side. Hurt in there with LaFrance as they grapple right in front of the referee. Now the puck behind the net, and it's picked up by Doug Crossman. Gives it to Secord, and it's back out at center ice. After it, Miles O'Connor chased it down in his own zone. O'Connor in behind the net. Over to Kelly Hurd, and here come the Houston Aeros. Pass to the near side for Mark Lamb. Lamb in his own end, trying to get the puck up and out at center. And it goes the length of the ice. Out of the net, Wendell Young. It's fired up the boards. Freer trying to lock it in there. Townsend pursues far side, takes Goslin into the corner, crushed him in there. It's poked again behind the net. Wendell Young slowed it. And the Wolves trying to clear it. Donnelly pinching near side with 4:20 to go. Aeros still need a goal. They're down 3-2. Graham Townsend, the only man back. He's got Rob Brown on his case, chasing him down. Malte flings it ahead, but there's Graham Townsend. A pass just too far for Freer. No icing. You may be hearing the fact that there's no icing. Now the puck near side, and it's controlled. Townsend trying to work it. You can hear the linesman yelling at someone out there that, hey, keep playing. It's not icing. And finally the puck frozen and play whistled down, and we'll take a timeout. 3:55 to go in the third. Houston trailing 3-2, and this is Saturday Night on Ice. (3-2) hockey game. Chicago leading the Houston Aeros 3-2. 3:55 to go, and Greener, Aeros are getting some chances here.
Well, that's because they're pinching their defensemen in every opportunity they get, and guys are covering up. They just can't control the puck once they get it down deep in the zone, and Chicago's doing a good job of getting it back out.
Off the face-off, Chicago has it back to the line. Hurlbut trying to hold into it, is jammed away, and Curry's got a break. Here's Dan Curry, wide, shoots, Gamble stopped it. Oh, a big save there by Troy Gamble. And the puck is cleared to the corner. Troy Gamble with a huge save on Dan Curry. It looked like Curry had the puck on his edge, too. It is picked up by Lamb. He'll scamper to center. That was the chance the Wolves needed to put the Aeros away. Now let's see if the Aeros can go to work on the deficit. Trailing 3-2. Here's a penalty coming up. It has been not too many penalties in this third period. In fact, none in the third. And we're going to get a holding minor, and it could very well be on the Chicago Wolves. Steve Bancroft is livid, and Lyle Seitz has a holding minor, and this could be the key of the hockey game.
Well, it comes down here, and I think the Bancroft's holding Hurd a little bit, stopping him from getting to the puck. Now, Sykes hasn't called anything in quite some time. That definitely is a hold, as he held him all the way into the zone. But there hasn't been a call in quite some time. Bancroft will go to the box for holding, and the Aeros will get a power play. Now, last night in Detroit, this is what really hurt the Chicago Wolves, as they got beat late in the game because of a power play.
Portions of Houston Aeros hockey brought to you in part by High-Low Auto Supply. What you need is high-low. And what the Aeros need is a goal, whether it's high or low in the net. Just get it in there.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter where it goes as long as it gets in there. And the Aeros have been putting on great pressure, and I tell you what, they've been handed a great opportunity here. Let's see if they can make good on it.
Chicago says, look, it's 3:21 left. We're going to give you a 2-minute power play. Do what you can. Here's Hurlbut at a right point, getting set on the man advantage. The Aeros do have a power play goal tonight. Freer has it, and it's Freer with a puck, base of the right circle. Freer give it to Arneal in the right circle, setting up on the man advantage. Arneal over to Hurlbut, turns, winds, wrist shot. Wendell Young stopped it. Loose puck, bang away at it, but the Aeros couldn't get there, and it's blasted out at center. It's like they're just a split second out of reach there. Now the pass to Townsend across the line. Dumped the puck in. Arneal after it. He's crushed into the boards by McDonald, but it was poked away. Holding it at right point is Mike Hurlbut. He tried to turn it down. It's a loose puck. Malte's in there. Blasted by Arneal. Now a puck deflected right on Wendell Young. Stopped it. Here is Freer on the power play. Give it to Arneal. Scott Arneal, base of the right circle with a power play down to 112. Hurlbut to Arneal. Back down, Freer, base of the right circle. Couldn't get it to Graham Townsend. Freer trying to skate away from Doug Crossman. Here's a chance. Centered Arneal. This shot hit the side of the net. Freer's got it in behind the cage. Here's a chance. Freer waiting. Whoop, lost the puck. Had to go gather it in. Good job of stick handling. Push one in front. Here's Arneal trying to thwart it. It's gobbled up by Brown. Or is that Malte who got it? And he threw it, right off Hurlbut.
I think it was Malte's stick that came up and hit Hurlbut right in the face.
Yeah, it was an accident, but Hurlbut got clean pretty good there. Now the Aeros, not much time remaining on the power play. 35 seconds, puck's at center, and here comes Maurice speeding in across the line. Ooh, takes a whack from McGill. Cuts in, poke check by Wendell Young. And it's cleared down the ice by Malte. Big clear there. Aeros making changes. 22 seconds to go on the power play. We're down to 1:40 to go. Aeros down a goal. Lanyell in his own zone. A pass over to Miles O'Connor. Here comes Lanyell at center. Lanyell dumped the puck into the Chicago zone. Bob McGill goes back. Conroy takes him to the board. It's cleared, not out. Power play's just about over. Puck's in front. It's cleared by Brown. Gamble in a foot race with Brown. Does he get there? No! Brown knocked it away, but he broke his stick, and the Aeros come to center. Here comes O'Connor across the line. Cuts right in on goal. Turns, shoots, stop, rebound. They bang away at it. Wendell Young makes the save. Wow! Puck is picked up by Conroy. Here's Slivchenko. The net is empty. The shot score! Kelly Hurd! And the game is tied at 3. Oh, they had pulled Troy Gamble, and the Aeros have tied the game with 1:01 to go.
Great work down low by the Houston Aeros. They just did not give up. They had a chance after chance, and Slivchenko makes a great pass, a good quick pass, and that quick pass is what got Hurd able to dump it in the open side. A good job down low as Slivchenko just pumps it out there, and Hurd's in the right spot, and he slips it down low, glove side on Wendell Young, who didn't have a chance, but good job in the corner by everyone else. Maurice in there as well, as Hurd finally gets the puck and beats Wendell Young, and they just finished pulling Troy Gamble. It's a tie hockey game. That's his second goal of the game for Kelly Hurd, 9th on the season.
Boy, I'll tell you what, a huge goal for Kelly Hurd. And the Aeros have tied the game at 3 with 1:01 to go. And if you're the Aeros, I'd go right after the Wolves again. I wouldn't play for the shootout. Go right after them.
Well, they've dominated this whole period,
Exactly.
so why not? Keep putting the pressure on. You never know what can happen.
Here is Lanyell. He'll dump the puck in the Chicago zone. Back to play it. Doug Crossman. Conroy trying to take it away. Here's a chance in front, knocked away. And Wiseman scampers to center with Malte. Wiseman, the pass. And it got through to Baral. Trying to get through Donnelly. Not an easy task. And it's rolled away. Here's a chance. Puck centered off skates. Aeros gathered in. Chip by Lamb. Give it to Maurice. It's right back out at center ice. Steve Bancroft worked it ahead. Gord Donnelly was there. Pass knocked away. Malte caught an edge. Down he went. Here come the Wolves. A pass center knocked away. 22 seconds to go. Aeros need to get it out of there. Lamb in his own end. Flings one along the boards. Bancroft held it in. Shot is blocked. Loose puck. Aeros turn. They'll clear it back to center. 10 seconds left. Chicago with a puck. Pass at center. Goes into the Aeros zone. Back to play it is Donnelly. And the Aeros are going to go to a shootout. Do you believe it? The horn will sound, and the Houston Aeros are going to go to the shootout. And Rob Dobson even clapping his hand. Dauber, what do you think of that?
Water.
That was terrific. We'll go to Dobson, but first we'll take a timeout. It's a 3-3 hockey, and back after this. Three hockey game. We're in a shootout, and let's go down to Rob Dobson. Boy, the attitude on the bench must have changed in the last several minutes. What a great goal.
Oh, you're kidding. You know, that's something we haven't been able to do most of the season. You know, we got snake bit a couple of times with it. I recall Indy when they scored with about 3 seconds, and there was one other time. So this is kind of a change, you know. Our attitude in between the period to go out to the third period, and really we had some good scoring chances in the second. And in the third, we just had to take advantage of them, and you know, we did, and we were very fortunate to get the goal with a minute left. And you know, this is a big opportunity for us to get 2 points when it didn't look like we were going to hardly get any.
Well, you're guaranteed 1, and Vadim Slivchenko will start it off against Wendell Young. And the Aeros have worked their tail off to get into a 3-3 tie. The Aeros will pick 5 shooters. They will shoot first.
And the right guy to get out there, because he's one of the guys that really helped get that tying goal by his work in the corner and dumping it out to Kelly Hurd, who deposited it into the net.
I'll tell you, they've got not only him out there, but they'll have Mike Maurice at their deposit too tonight. They didn't have him in the Fort Wayne shootout because of his hip. So we'll see if they use him tonight, but Slivchenko will start it on the shootout. He's got the puck and moves it across the Chicago line. Slivchenko in on goal. Deke shoots. Oh, what a stick save made by Wendell Young. Wow.
There's one for the highlight reel, ladies and gentlemen. What a great save with the paddle of his stick.
And now it is Rob Brown. And I say who? He was there in the first, but not after things got tough. And Houdini with a chance now to put the Wolves up. He'll move in on Gamble. Here's Rob Brown. He's in on goal. He will shoot. Gamble stick save, and he will clear it. And Rob Brown looks at Troy Gamble. And I just shake of the head, and here's Mike Maurice. And as usual, I won't even say it because you know what I'm thinking with Maurice.
You're thinking backhand shelf. I think he might go something else, but you never know. On Wendell Young, he might go backhand shelf.
Well, that's my call. Here comes Mike Maurice. He will cut in. Maurice will deke. He'll shoot. Wendell Young stacked the pads. He did try to go up. I don't know if he got it up as high as he wanted.
Yeah, but Wendell Young was there nevertheless, and cutting down the angle with his pads, he came right out at him and got his pads in the way, and a great save again by Wendell Young.
And Dan Curry will try to avenge. He had a chance to win this hockey game and ice it. He'll move in on Gamble. Gamble comes out to cut down the angle. Curry, wide, shoots.
What a
save by Gamble.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Look at the Aero bench.
They're shaking their head.
We're not worthy.
How did he know he was going there? What a save by Gamble. That one, I want to take a picture of that.
Oh,
rewind that.
Here is Mark Lamb. The goaltenders are putting on a show in the shootout. Here comes Lamb on Wendell Young. Lamb in on goal. Score! Mark Lamb. And the Aeros, after their 3 shooters, lead it 1-0. But Chicago bringing their 3rd shooter to the pond. And we're waiting to see. I think it's going to be Brian Wiseman. With 2 assists tonight, it will be Wiseman.
Mark Lamb with a great shot, beat Wendell Young on the glove side. Wiseman will try and tie it up.
Here comes Wiseman, in on Troy Gamble. Wiseman, he waits, shoots, Gamble the save! And after 3 shooters, it's 1-0 Houston. And this would really put the test to him if Al Conroy rather can score. Gene Ubriaco not happy. But here comes Al Conroy. Conroy's got it in on goal. Here's Conroy on Wendell Young. Shoots, scores! Al Conroy low to the glove side, and it's game time. Doug Baralt has to make it, or the hockey game is over.
And how fittingly so, if Gamble were to make another great save here. He's had a great road trip. This would top it off.
It'll be Doug Baralt in on Gamble. Baralt cuts in on goal. Baralt, he will wait, he will shoot. Gamble with a poke check, and the Houston Aeros with maybe their finest comeback in history, overcoming a 3-0 deficit, and they win the hockey game in a shootout by a score of 4-3. What an effort, what a win.
They're back. The guys are back at them. Those great road trip, finishing it off with a shootout win. They go 3-1 on the trip. And what a great trip it was. And the Aeros get rewarded for all their hard work and are really playing well now.
The only reward that is left now is to find out how Atlanta is doing in San Francisco. Hopefully we will have some updates, but we will return with more from the Rosemont Horizon after this. Final 4-3 in a shootout. Aeros win it. This is Saturday Night on Ice.